Hello! How are we, guys? Oh, we're looking the wrong way again. I keep forgetting I've moved the camera. It's over here, it's not over there. I'm used to looking there. Sorry. Let's see if I can move my chat over a little bit so it's more in line with what I'm supposed to be looking at. Let's see. Let's do that. Oops. I don't want to do that. There we go. Hopefully that's a bit more in line now. It looks a little less like I'm talking to somebody over there. Anyway, how are we doing, guys? I think everything's working. I seem to have a few people in, but I don't know. It says it's only one viewer over there, but there's 15 there. So I don't know. Let me know if it's working, guys. Somebody just type something in chat so I know that it's all working. I'm going to turn that music down just a tad because it's a little bit too loud. Where's everything gone? Oh, dear Lord. That's better. So today we've got new stuff happening. Fiona! Hello, Fiona. Sitting with coffee and journaling. So you're great. Awesome. That's what you need. We're waiting for... I think there's going to be a storm, but it doesn't say there's going to be a storm, but Miss Maddie's whining a lot. Hello, baby. Do you want to say hello? Do you want to come up and say hello? Do you want to say hello to everybody? Miss Maddie. Miss Maddie. Hey, I'm talking to you. Maddie. No, she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to say hello. Hi, Inlay. There you go, baby. Billy rubs for Maddie. We'll start as we mean to go on. Billy rubs for Maddie. There we go. Okay. I'm just giving it a few minutes, just till everybody gets here. For some reason, YouTube's notification system is not quite as useless as Twitch's. Twitch's never seems to work at all, but YouTube definitely seems to be a bit behind. Oh, let me make sure it went on Discus. Yes, it's gone live. Yay. Cody, you made it! You're up early. Crikey. Oh, you're on Hurricane Watch, aren't you? Courtney's in Florida. How is it going over there? I believe it's past you, hasn't it? You just on cleanup. At least it wasn't as bad as they thought it was going to be. It was nowhere near as bad as last year yet. So, what have I been up to? I got a few announcements. A few announcements? Well, definitely one announcement. I'm not sure. For those who are patrons, any level of patron, we did a big coffee chat yesterday on all the astrology. We did a tarot reading, we did an oracle reading for August, all the way through. We went through what we're going to do for class. All that is up, and you can go and check it out on Patreon if you're any level of patron. Hi, Tracy. Something that came out of yesterday's chat is that we finally figured out what I'm going to do for the Halloween Chronicles this year. So stay tuned for that information. No hurricane in Florida, but it hit the Carolinas. Oh, it's hit Burgess, has it? She posted on her Patreon that she had lost power and they were just waiting for the storm to pass. She's in the north, so I think by the time it hit her, it was a tropical, as opposed to a hurricane. Oh, she's here. She made it. She's here. It's alive! The weather's naff, but you're all okay. Excellent. So, my patrons already know this because anybody who was in the coffee chat yesterday has already heard this, but I'm very excited to be able to tell you that, pause for dramatic effect, there is going to be a Halloween Chronicles this year. Right up until yesterday, I was not 100% sure. I was in and ahhing and a little bit this, a little bit that. What I had originally planned to do, somebody else announced a very, very similar class that's going up at the same time, and I knew she'd been planning it, but I didn't know she was going to actually launch it. So I thought, well, yeah, I did know that this was going to happen at some point. I just wasn't expecting it yet. So I decided to shelve my idea for another time, because it's not fair to somebody else to bring out a class doing pretty much the same thing just because yours is... I mean, it's very different to what she does. My plan was completely different to what she's doing, but it was similar enough that I thought, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have a same class or a conflicting class going up at the same time. Also, I want to do her class, and I can't really do that if I'm teaching my own class and the same thing at the same time. Anyway, we have come up with the theme for the Halloween Chronicles. You have to watch the replay from yesterday. Oh, you haven't watched it either? Oh, it was fun. Lots and lots of fun yesterday. The general astrological and tarot outlook cliff notes is August's just going to be just as bad, if not worse, as it has been for the rest of 2020. Welcome to the circus. Yeah. There's a lot going on, but here we go. This year's Halloween Chronicles, which is not up on the website just yet, obviously I've got to do, because I only finalised what we were going to do yesterday, I still have to do the promotional photo things and that sort of stuff, so I haven't put it up on the website yet. But here's your teaser. It's going to be called the Halloween Chronicles 2020 Poetry. Yes, poetry. The emphasis being on the po part of poetry. We are going to be looking at the creative works of Edgar Allan Poe, specifically his poetry, and taking themes and so on and ideas and inspiration from that and turning it into artwork, writing, another poem, a short story, whatever you want to do. Or if you're either not into Edgar Allan Poe or not into poetry, then you can perhaps use one of his short stories as your inspiration that has the same themes, or you could use a completely different poem or even a song or something like that that has the same theme in it. So it's going to be a little bit of looking at creative works and analysing them and saying, well, what can we pull from this? And also converting the ideas that it gives us. Like, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm a visual thinker. When I read a story, I see it in my head. It's like I'm watching a film. I'm the same with poetry. And with Edgar Allan Poe's poetry, his poetry is lyrical poetry. It's epic. It's not just, oh, I'm sitting on a hillside looking at daffodils and oh, they're yellow. Or, oh, I'm in love and oh, she's beautiful and da-da-da. It's very much a story. Here's what happened. Here's where we're up to. This is what's happening now. This is what I'm feeling about it. This is where we're heading. You know, it's a complete story from beginning to end. So that's what we're going to be looking at. The story behind the poetry and what we can pull from that to make our own artwork. And I haven't decided yet whether we're going to make one big piece. I guess if you want to do one big piece, you could do one big piece. My thoughts was more along the lines of coming up with sketch ideas as you were going through, you know, almost like taking notes, but taking notes in visual form of, oh, this reminds me of such and such, or this makes me think of this, or this gives me this picture in my head, and making a sketch of it, and then from that, turning it into whatever you want, a journal page, an illustration for the poem, whatever you want. So that's what we're going to be doing. I'm very excited because I absolutely freaking adore Edgar Allan Poe. I can't wait. It's going to be good. That begins October 1st. So the Halloween Chronicles always runs October 1st through to the Halloween party on the 31st of October, or the nearest Saturday, depending on, you know, whether people have school the next day or whatever. I usually figure it out and let you know at the beginning of the class. But the class actually opens on the 27th of September, so that you get intros and you get an idea of what book you're going to need and all that kind of stuff. But this year I'm just going to say, just grab a journal or a sketchbook and have at it. Because most of the work we're going to be doing is in a sketchbook. So if you grab some kind of basic sketchbook that you like to use and work from there, and then you can take some of the stuff that you do in that sketchbook and turn it into proper artwork. Whether it's a full sketchbook page, or whether it's a piece of artwork you can hang on the wall, or whatever. So that's the brief rundown. Obviously, there will be more information about it. It will be on the website soon. And yes, as always, for my prepay students, if you purchase When Frogs Sing 2021 on the early bird option, which is prior to the 27th of September, you will get Halloween Chronicles free, as always. So I'm hoping to have the actual sales stuff up a month in advance. So somewhere around the 20th of August, 27th of August, that week, the last week of August, everything will go up. But it will be priced the same as it always is. It'll be $30 as always. And if you want to purchase the class on its own, or you want to purchase it through the year thing, you know what I mean, with a bundle, that's entirely up to you. Okay? So that's coming up, starting October 1st, Halloween Chronicles 2020, Poetry. I'm so excited. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to draw skulls and coffins and ravens and stuff. It's right up my street. Anyway, that's that. This month on Patreon, we are drawing more animals and things, and you'll see some of those in a second. The last 2 weeks I have had terrible vertigo. Like literally every single time I looked down, like that way, actually tilted my head down that way, I got a wave of nausea, to the point that I've now stopped myself looking down, and so far today, touch wood, I haven't had any nausea. But I haven't looked down either, so yeah, I'm spending an awful lot of time lying down actually, because that's the easiest way to make it not make me feel nauseous. Usually I'm one of those people who takes a day off, gets over the worst of it, and then comes back to work, but with vertigo the problem is it gives you nausea, and I'm a metaphobic. Me don't like the we don't do that. We don't do that. We have major phobias about that kind of thing. So yeah, anxiety's high, nausea's high, dizziness is quite high. So it's been a slow 2 weeks. So we didn't get to finish, actually we didn't even get to start painting the newt that we were doing. So that had to go on hold. I actually did something else, but you know, we're going to be continuing in August, and possibly even September, because everybody seems to be enjoying what we're doing. So we're very relaxed on my Patreon. I try to schedule in advance what we're going to do. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It's not the end of the world, you know. There's always next month. There's always next week. There's always something else, you know. Hey, Meg. Meg is continuing with her One Book July, Junk Journal July in August in a little laid-back way. So if you're into junk journaling, go follow her. You're happy to hear me talking about poetry? Oh yes, I love. It's gothic. I mean, he's classed as one of the American romantics. But when I think romantic poetry, I think Wordsworth. You know, sat on a hill looking at the sunrise, sitting among the daffodils. Oh, aren't they pretty? You know, that's what I think of as romantic poetry. When I think of gothic poetry, I think of the dark side of romantic. Samuel Taylor Coleridge, Byron, Pope, Edgar Allan Poe, all of that stuff. Emily Dickinson, Mary Shelley. Oh, all of that. That's yeah, that's my jam. So we're gonna go stock Bo raving mad for a month. I can't think of any better time to do it than around Halloween. It's gonna be awesome. And I thought, as always, there will be audiobook options because for those who've not done my Chronicles classes, they come with free audio recordings that I do of well-known books or poetry or whatever. It's always something that's out of copyright, so it's for public domain. For Christmas last year, we did, for instance, the Christmas Carol. Last November, we did all sorts of short stories and bits and pieces. We had Christina Rossetti's Goblin Market and all that kind of stuff. So you've got audio stuff to stimulate you while you're working on things. But obviously this year, whatever poetry we're working on, I will do an audio version of that poem. And we'll take it from there, and we'll do, you know, a bit of a chat about, you know, what's this poem about, what's the main themes, all that kind of stuff. It won't be like an English class, I promise. It'll be much more interesting, and then we'll take inspiration from it and work from there. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome, and all you need is a sketchbook. Anything else is gravy. Just need a sketchbook. Well, and a pen or pencil, obviously. Something to sketch with and something to sketch in. And anything else is like, whatever. Oh, and of course, if you've got any Poe related stamps or washi tape or anything like that, you might want to dig them out because they're going to be useful. There's that. When Frogs Sing 2021, the early bird option to pre-purchase will be going up at the same time as the Halloween Chronicles for those who like to do the bundle discount. I think that's it, really. There's nothing more to say about that. It goes up for Halloween, and then it goes there's a bundle for the Christmas Chronicles, although at the moment I don't know if I'm going to do the Christmas Chronicles specifically. I may not, because I think I kind of peaked last year with the with doing the Christmas Chronicle, the Christmas Carol. It's really hard finding Christmas ghost stories that are out of date. Poe with Roe! Roetry with Poe and poetry. Poetry with Roe. Poe with Roe. Yeah, I like Poe with Roe. That's good. I like it. So yeah, that's what we're doing. Now on to today's ridiculousness. Let me show you. Oh no, first let me explain. In 2017, 3 years ago, this September, Holly Brown, who I think got married and became Holly Willoughby and has since disappeared. I cannot find her anywhere. I don't know if she's still on YouTube or whatever, but I can't find her anywhere. She started something called a Sketchbook Slam Challenge. And the idea was to buy one of those big 600-page sketchbook things from Art Alternatives and complete it in 30 days. Which, of course, is completely bonkers. Now I can't find Holly's video, I followed links to it, I can't find her channel, I can't find her, I don't know what's happened to her, she's poofed off the internet somewhere. She might have just changed her name, you know, that happened with Juicy Ink. Juicy Ink changed her name, and I just found her again the other day. How I didn't know she'd changed channels, I don't know, but that's what people do. Instead of just changing the name on the channel, they change the whole channel. I don't understand why. Anyway, I have instead linked in the description down below the video where I saw it first, which is Bailey J's video. Bailey J bought the Big Stupid Sketchbook and she finished it in 30 days. And if you go to her channel, you can see not only her sketchbook, but the whole thing. She didn't film every single thing, every single page, but she filmed a substantial number of pages and a final flip. So she did do the whole challenge. Then she did a video on whether you should do the challenge or not, and the pros and cons. And of course, like many others, at that point, there was a time when YouTube wouldn't let anyone change anything. There was, but that was like 5+ years ago. And Holly's video and channel and everything was available 3 years ago. So the ability to change your username and change your display name and all that has been available for longer than that. So I think that might be why Juicy Ink changed her channel, because that was a long time ago. But anyway. So, like many others, I got the link to the Big Stupid Sketchbook, which is produced by Art Alternatives in the US. And of course, it's only available in the US. Now, I've been using Art Alternatives sketchbooks for a long time. And by a long time, I mean I filled... This is my 5th one, I think. And I'm a good way into that one as well. For those who need that's the logo for anyone who needs the visual. I've been using these A5 sketchbooks for a long time. I love them. I really do. They last well, they're great paper, etc. These and my Moleskines, between the two of them, I've never needed another sketchbook. However, I really wanted the 600-page sketchbook because, like, it's huge and it's 600 pages. So I put it in my Amazon cart, and I think at the time it was actually available through Amazon UK, but it's still shipped from the US. And I worked out that it was going to cost me about £95 3 years ago, with import fees and postage and everything else. And at the time I was like, £95, tad steep. Don't think I can justify that for a sketchbook, even that one. I think the lowest I ever saw it for was £53 on Amazon UK, and even then there was another $50 in postage on top of that. And so it sat languishing in my Amazon cart until eventually one day it was no longer available on Amazon UK, and the only way to get it was through Amazon US, which cost even more money. Bye-bye 600-page sketchbook. And then, gosh darn it, not so long ago, Roxanne Coble, by Bun, here on YouTube, again, her link is down below, started what she called a Big Stupid Sketchbook project, in which she got said 600-page Big Stupid Sketchbook and is now filling said big 600-page stupid sketchbook. She's not doing it as a sketchbook slam. She's not doing the crazy fill it in 30 days thing. She's just filling it like a normal sketchbook. But she is filming the entire process on YouTube. I've put a link down below. She doesn't have a playlist yet, which I'm surprised at, but I've put a link to the very first video, and from there it's pretty easy to find it on her channel. I will let her know that she hasn't put up a playlist. She's probably forgotten. She's got 1,000,001 things going on. And let me also stress that before anybody says, oh, but you're using Big Stupid Sketchbook Project in your title and that's by Bun's project, and I have already checked with Bun, because it's not cool to steal, y'all. I have already checked with Bun that it is okay to use that title in that way, and she said, as long as you link to me, it's not a problem. So there it is. I am using the Big Stupid Sketchbook Project idea, but I'm using a different sketchbook, and that's what I want to show you today, because I have found an alternative. It's not an exact dupe or anything like that, but it is a good option if you are in a position where you cannot get the 600-page sketchbook. If you're in the US, there is the option to buy it on Amazon. The last time I looked at it, it was about $30. Go and check down below. I've put the link for the Amazon link, the Amazon affiliate link for By Bun, where you can get the 600-page sketchbook. Because it's not available here. It's not available to me, and I don't have an Amazon US shop, so I figure I might as well, chuck a bit her way. So please use her. If you're going to buy the 600-page sketchbook off Amazon, please go and use her link, which I've put down below. If you are not able to get hold of the 600-page sketchbook, because like me, if you bought it from the US, which is the only place you can get it, it will cost you about 125 quid. Which is too much for a sketchbook. I have a solution. Or a potential solution anyway. So, here is the potential solution. Now my patrons have already seen this. So, if you're a patron, you've got time to go and get yourself a cup of tea. Hey Ash. You can tell it's already grubby because I've been using it, but everything of mine gets grubby and covered it. Look, it's dog prints. Dog paw prints. Freaking paw prints on my sketchbook. And that's little prints. That's Scooby. That's a Scooby foot, that is. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 Scooby feet. Little bugger. Anyway, this is my alternative version. Let me give you the information. So, if you want to make notes, now is the time to grab a pen. The 600-page Art Alternative Sketchbook, the dimensions, this is, I've got it written down here, hang on, 12.5 inches, which is 35 centimetres give or take, by 10 3/4 inches, 27 centimetres give or take. And it is 600 pages, so it's 300 sheets, 600 sides. It actually works out, I think, 606 if you include the front and back sheets and things. But nobody ever uses those on most sketchbooks anyway, so. Now, this one is slightly taller. Instead of 12.5 inches, it's 13.5 inches. And instead of 10 3/4 inches wide, it's 10 1/4 inches wide. But I'm thinking for half an inch less at the width and an inch more at the top, that's about as comparable as you're going to get. The reason I've gone for this rather than just getting an A3 sketchbook is, one, this is not A3, it's smaller than A3, which is way better. But also, for art, A3, A4, A5 are not good dimensions to work in. They're a little bit too tall and a little bit not wide enough. I always end up chopping off the top of the page and using it that way. So, By Buns is the big stupid sketchbook, 600 pages. This is only 100, so it's thinner. But, as Burgess correctly pointed out the other day when we were talking about this in Patreon, she had one of the big 600-page sketchbooks, and it was so heavy, it was hurting her shoulder to move it about. So she actually gave it away in the end. She didn't actually use it in the end. and I think she's now trying to get hold of one of these. Now, these are available on Amazon US. I don't have an Amazon US account, so what I'll do is I'll find them and I'll give Bun the link, and if she wants to provide the link to the smaller one, then that's up to her. And if she doesn't, then, you know, you just have to Google it. That's what Google is for. I have put links down below to 3 different places that you can buy this. Now, if you're in the UK, the cheapest by far place to buy this is off their website direct. It's £8.81, or it was the last time I looked, plus postage. It works out roughly £10 a sketchbook, which is pretty damn good. For a book this size, multiply that by 6, you get £60. So if you really wanted 600 pages of... it's 300 pages by 3. £30 for the 600-page sketchbook, but just in 3 chunks. Which I think is a bargain, considering it's $30 over on Amazon. So, what's that, 27 quid? So for £3 more, you could got the convenience of having it in 3 chunks, and you can buy it in the UK. I did contact Artway Studio, I'll talk about them in a minute, and said, any chance of getting a promotional discount for my YouTube list subscribers? Sadly, because they are a small shop who happens to do their own stuff as well, or their own branded stuff, they are not in a position at the moment to offer us a promotional discount because of, guess what, COVID. So sadly, they weren't able to do that, but, you know, we could show them some love. So if you want this version, it's called the Graduate Portrait Case-Bound Sketchbook. Graduate Portrait Case-Bound Sketchbook. And it is by Artway Studio. I have put the links down below. I've put the link to Artway Studio Direct, which is where to get it if you're in the UK. If you've got eBay vouchers or Nectar vouchers and you want to spend those, you can get them on eBay as well, but it's a little bit more expensive. They charge you $3.99 postage, but it's $3.99 per parcel. So you can buy like 5 of these and still only pay $3.99 postage, which is good. And then they've also got it on Amazon, and I think the last time I looked it was $1.99 or $2.99 postage, but it was only £10 for the sketchbook. So if you've got Amazon Prime, you could have, for $1.99, you could have it the next day, kind of thing, if you're desperate. If you are in a country where you cannot get a delivery from Amazon UK, some of the Dutch girls were looking for them. They did find them on German Amazon, but not in the graduate size. And Mika actually found that they do an A3 softcover version, which is only 48 pages. So half the size again, but soft cover, and that is super cheap. And because it's soft cover, it's very light as well, so it'll save her postage. So she's bought a few of those, and she's going to bind them together into her own book, because the soft-bound ones are basically just like signatures that you can turn into your own book. So if you want to save postage because you can't get it with all the Brexit ridiculousness, then you can do that. Okay, all the links are down below, and like I say, this is by Artway Studio. The other one is by Art Alternatives, which is a US company. However, as they say, however, this is not only the same dimensions, give or take an inch, it is also lighter because it's only 1/3 of the book. And yes, I do plan on purchasing 2 more. I just haven't got round to it yet. But I want to have all 6. I especially want to see if I can take the back cover off this and turn the 3 or put 2 together. I don't know that that's a good idea for my shoulder, but it would be fun to see if I can do it. And I've been checking on this paper to make sure that it is good paper, and it is. This paper, I'll be absolutely honest, is good enough for me to say, you know what, Next time I need one of these, I'm not going to spend 25 quid getting it from the US. Because the sketchbook itself is only about $12. But it costs $12 again in postage. Then it costs extra in VAT. I have to pay 20% VAT, sales tax. And then, for the privilege of being told, hey, you've got a parcel that's come from America and you have to pay sales tax on it, Royal Mail charges me another £15 for sending me a postcard telling me that I owe money. Which I knew because I ordered it. Yeah. We love you, Royal Mail. Honest. So... I like the paper in this one enough to say, you know what, next time I might just get one of these in A5 from Artway Studio instead of this. Because if this is only £10, so it's £8.80 on the website, the A5 one is going to be even less. It's going to be about £4. So, why was this full moon more intense than normal? Oh, if you are, I don't know if you're still on Patreon, Marie, but if you want a full rundown on that, I did a Patreon chat yesterday. It's available to all tiers. So even if you're only in the $1 tier, it's available to you. You can go and watch that. We did a whole 3-hour session on, wow, what the hell is up with this full moon? What the hell is up with all this astrology and all these retrogrades? How bad is August expected to be? Because we already know it's going to be bad. We just want to know how bad. And also a tarot reading and an oracle reading to go with it. So pop over there. I was thinking of setting up a basic tier on YouTube so that those videos would be available if you joined here as well. But apparently you have to have 3 tiers at least on YouTube. You can't just have 1 tier, which is incredibly annoying. So I don't know, maybe I'll make it available through my website or something instead. Sea Whites has always been my normal go-to. Yes. 188 pages for £9.95. Yes, and they do that slightly odd size. I have one here, in fact. They do the slightly odd size. Ooh, that's dusty. The slightly odd size, which funnily enough is double this. I love this size, and I especially like using it double width. So I think I'm going to get on with this big sketchbook actually quite well. This is the one I use for out there. Urban sketching. There we go. I've got a portrait one and a landscape one in this odd size. It's B. That's B6. So this is B5 and this is B4. Yeah, I think you're still a patron, aren't you, Marie? So you'll be able to get that over on Patreon. The ad-free version should be up by now. You're trying out the Royal Talons sketchbook. I really like that one as well. I've got it too, but what I've found is that it works better for non-water media. So like acrylics, it's great for. Pencil, sketching, ink, all of that. But the minute you try and use watercolour or gouache or even try to do acrylic washes, it pills and it doesn't like it. So I keep that actually for dry media and just acrylic paint, and it works great. Even A4 intimidates you. A4 is intimidating. A4 intimidates me, but this doesn't intimidate me because A4, if you look at a sheet of A4, is completely the wrong dimensions to draw anything. If you draw, let's do it in pencil so I can erase it because this is sticker paper and I want to use it in a minute. If you draw a head this big, okay, you don't have room for the shoulders. If, on the other hand, you draw the shoulders so that they fit, even only just, and then you draw the head, you've got all of this space up here. So it's, your brain automatically goes, but this doesn't fit. I can't do this. It doesn't, you know. And landscape, it's just as bad. Oh, I could have drawn on the back, couldn't I? Landscape, it's just as bad, because the normal thing is to do your horizon line 1/3 of the way up or 1/3 of the way down. And automatically you're like, well, yeah, but then that's too much width. I only need that much width. It's too tall and it's not wide enough for landscape, exactly. Whereas this, if you look at this page, even though how big it is, and I'll do this, now it doesn't have a beginning page. Look at this. This is what I really like about this. You know how normally you have a useless page at the front of your sketchbook? This doesn't have that at all. There isn't a useless page at the front of the sketchbook. Like normally there's a useless page at the front that's... It's stuck. Oh, I actually usually stick it together. That's the useless page. But you open it and it's stuck to like here. And then you've only got a little bit of a page there. On the very first page is stuck all the way over here. And then this is the first spread. So you waste a page before you even start, which has always bugged me. Which is why I just stick it down so it doesn't bother me after that. But this goes straight into regular paper. And I use the alternatives paper as mixed media paper. I've never had any trouble with it. Now, I haven't tested this with wet media yet. That's kind of what I was going to do today. But I have used it with several other types of media, and I know that it already takes those really well. So I'm fairly happy that it's going to be fine. I'm just going to put my ruler. The bottom of the book keeps sliding in under there. So I'm just going to put my ruler in, because it's not quite thick enough to hold the book widthways out. Hang on, let me... here we go. Ta-da! There we go. So, here's a tip. I see so many people going, oh, I never want to use this first page, I get intimidated. Whenever I get a sketchbook, if it's got a bookmark, I turn to the page where the bookmark is. And usually you'll find your bookmark is tucked in here and it's tucked up under somewhere else. So I will mark that second page and I'll use the page where the bookmark is, and then the second page I will use next. That means I've got one at the front and one at the back that's already used before I start. Now, this one doesn't have a bookmark. I did think about putting one in, but I just picked a page at random and started. This is my newt that comes from my... Oh, I took them out. This is from my... where have I put them? Oh, they're on the scanner. This is my newt that I'm doing. I'm redoing all my Patreon banners, but we're doing them as Patreon sessions, learning how to draw and paint and ink and all that kind of stuff. And then this was the other day when I wasn't feeling very well. I didn't want to sit and try and paint him, so I was swatching some new colours that I got from Paper Artsy. Look at that colour palette. Oh, hang on. Let me put my... Oh, there you go. That's better. I'm so used to not having a studio light, I didn't bother to put it on. Yeah, this is my new colours from Paper Artsy. Aren't they divine? They're all grungy and then they sent me free with my order. They sent me this stamp. I have no idea who it's by. I just know it's a Paper Artsy stamp. They have several different designers. Oh, come on, stop it. There we go. They have several different designers, and I don't know whose design that stamp is. It might be one of Leanne's herself. But somebody halfway through said, oh, that looks a bit like a tarot card, the way you've done it. So I turned it into a tarot card. So we turned it into a sun tarot card, which is appropriate for Leo. So yeah, I've started in it, it's broken in, but how about we go to the beginning. I've already put a couple of stickers on, as you can see. A couple of stickers, and I think... Okay, come on, seriously, stop this. I need to take the lip off this easel. I've never understood why easels have lips on them, because they just get in the way. Any paper is too much for you. Haven't drawn or journaled in more than a week. Well, you've got a lot going on. The key to it, if you can't journal, if you can't bring yourself to journal or sketch or be creative in any way, because everything is just getting on top of you and the state of the world is completely crap and it's too much to deal with, allow yourself time to breathe. Don't stress in any way. And I know Cody's an Aquarian, she's not going to be stressing about it, trust me. She'll be questioning why it's happening, but she won't be stressing about it. But people do stress. Oh, I haven't journaled in ages, I haven't done this, I haven't done that, I feel guilty for not doing it. Don't feel guilty. You need a break, you know? And if you have too many emotions to deal with, how are you supposed to express them creatively? And that's what most journaling and art is about, is expressing what you feel or expressing what you think. And if you don't know how you feel and you don't know how you think, how are you supposed to express it? So just take it easy, you know? Do something that you find enjoyable. Find something that you find enjoyable, even if it's just sitting watching Netflix for a day. Normally you'd get out of the house, but you can't. Yeah. That's part of the issue I had. That I would normally just get in the car and go for a drive, and I couldn't. What I started doing was escaping in other ways. Escaping into stories that I could follow, binge watching a whole series or a whole season on Netflix, so that you get so engrossed and enmeshed in the characters that you don't want to not watch it. So it just takes you out of yourself for a while. They do say a change is as good as a rest, and it's better than watching the news. If you're going to binge watch anything, the news is not the place to be. So I would say that, just find things that take you out of yourself. I mean, you love to organise and reorganise everything you own, so, you know, if that's what makes you happy, why don't you just pull out one of your bins and start organising and reorganising it, just for the sake of it? At least you'll feel like you're doing something. You won't be sitting around going, oh yeah, but I should be doing this, I should be doing that. Hi Jen. Hi Jen. Okay. I'm going to do something in my big stupid sketchbook. So you've opened your big stupid sketchbook. Obviously, the first thing you do is put a sticker on the front. That's a given, isn't it? Because otherwise you don't know which way is up or which way is down on your sketchbook, and you don't know which sketchbook is which if they're all the same size. So obviously put a sticker on the front first. I also had a couple of stickers just hanging around that are just shoved in here for no apparent reason, and I've put my name and email up there on the top corner, along with the date I started it, which is July 2020, and my phone number. But I've only written it in pencil, so it doesn't show too much on YouTube. That, apart from those 2 pages, is all I've done. So let's pretend we're at this point where it's a nice big new sketchbook and we've got some space. So how about, I think it's only fair, given that the big stupid sketchbook project is the brainchild of Bye Bun, and I have some Bye Bun stickers, I think it's only fair that I put one of her stickers in here. So I'm going to go with, I want to use those in my journal. Let's go with the creepy bunny. He's kind of cool in an Alice in Wonderland way. And who doesn't love a bit of Alice in Wonderland, right? And yes, I've seen the Sticky Box retro pack for July with the Alice in Wonderland things. Yes, it's on its way to me, don't worry. I love all things Alice in Wonderland. So I think it's only fair that we put a Bye Bun sticker in here, given that she started the Big Stupid Sketchbook project and this is a fairly Big Stupid Sketchbook project. And I will probably write in here okay. We've started. We've got things going. What else? Now, this page, because it's not a filler page, it's actually a sketchbook page, I'm going to go straight in and draw on this page. Maybe not today, but I will draw on this page. I won't skip it and just use the whole thing for stickers. So I'm going to stick to putting stickers on this page and on the cover. I actually have... Ooh, now, do I know where it is? Somewhere here, right at my fingertips, I believe, if this is the right thing, I have... Yes, it is. I have a huge white Witcher sticker, which I think will look really cool with that grey wolf. So let's put him on there as well. So, need to peel off. This is one of those stickers that goes either way, so we need to peel off this side of it, if I remember correctly. Yes. So let's put him on there. Yeah, it's starting to feel like mine already. It's got wolves all over it. How can it not be? There we go. We likey. You love Alice in Wonderland. Should pull that book out and read it. Yeah, go down the rabbit hole. Absolutely. Lisa, we're starting to say the same things at the same time. We're going to stop that. Did you guys see the Alice in Wonderland dress in ACNH? Did I see it? I've got it. And the wig. And the dolly shoes, although they're not the Alice dolly shoes, they're just the Black Mary Janes. There's an Alice wig and there's what they call an adventure dress, which is basically Alice in Wonderland. But there's an adventurer's wig, which is a blonde wig. It turns your hair blonde and it has an Alice band with a bow. So, that's the information for where I got the sticker from, so I'm going to hold on to that. I kind of like this weird envelope too. Ooh! Ooh! A freebie. I'm Didn't know that was in there. Excellent. We love a freebie sticker. Harley Quinn? Yeah. So I'm going to keep that because I want to order some more decals from her. Well then, let's put Harley Quinn in here as well, shall we? Why not? Let's put her over here with that. Ooh, ooh, that's sticky. That's hella sticky. It's clingy. There we go. We're moving in. We're moving in. I think of this process like, you know when you move to a new place or you're on holiday and you move into a little caravan or a bed and breakfast or whatever, and it feels really alien. And the first thing you do is start, you know, you hang your clothes up and you put your bits and pieces around and you charge your phone and all that. And once it's got a few bits and pieces that reflect you and what you do, it feels more homey and it's easier to settle. That's what I think of this process as. And for me, it's an important process because it means that when I start sketching on this page, I'm not going to be like, oh, but it doesn't feel homey, because all of this feels homey. Look, I've even got a colour scheme going on. I've got a bit of a yellow and black colour scheme going on. Have I got anything else? Just a little pile of bits and pieces. Oh, cute sea lions. Inspirational bits. Ideas. Oh, big creepy skull. No, I don't know. I'll keep this page for stickers. I'll keep this page for stickers. Of course, I probably have a big creepy skull sticker somewhere. Is that a sticker? No, it's not. Okay, well that'll do. Oh, okay, I've also got, let's check in here. What have I got in this journal? Oh, that's days of the week. Photo of me. Ooh, more yellow and black. Haunted house. Well, I can't see any other way I would use that, so maybe I'll put that in here. I've got one of those cute little sad boys from... Got pictures of the fur kids. That's going in my journal. Some of Courtney's printables. Well, that fits the colour scheme as well. I've got kind of a colour scheme going on here. Alright then. Let's go with it then. Why not? Let's do it. Okay, so I think this guy... Oh, it's got Bob Dylan written there as well. This is just a scrap from a Sabrina Ward Harrison page, but I keep looking at it and going, oh, he'd look really cute sat on there. Because that is kind of how Bob Dylan's songs make me feel. I love Bob Dylan, but his songs make me feel like that. So let's put that down there. And then I've got a bit of inspiration from my creative peeps. So a bit of inspiration from Bun, a bit of inspiration from Courtney, a bit of inspiration from Sabrina. Bit of inspiration from films I like. My wolf, of course. Oof. Do not look down and stare at that, trying to get it to come apart. There we go. Oop. Oh no! Why'd that happen? I feel like he needs to be that side and he needs to have something with him. So let's put him there. Maybe we can put that flower next to him. Oh, look at that. There we go. Let's just... lift him up on that edge a tiny bit. Can't look down. If I look down for too long, I get all dizzy. There we go. Oh, I like that. Yeah, that just sets him off nicely. And that's both Courtney's. And then I've got this one, which I don't think I'm going to use for anything else. So I might as well put it there with the keep out sign, right? This was from Paula, I think, sent me these. And so far, we've got kind of a colour scheme going on, which I rather like. And we've got that. This is a sticker from the girl who made my masks for me, because we've got to wear masks now. I couldn't make one that fitted properly, so I just bought one off Etsy. So Closing the Circle made mine. And I'm just going to put some poison in there, because that's why we're all wearing masks, right? Because everything's toxic. Okay. So I think that's all I want to do there for now, because otherwise, you know, I've got a whole sketchbook here to fill up, and I will have other stickers I want to put here. Shall I put that one there? Yeah, why not? So I'm going to put this one up here next to my address. I've found that to be a very useful thing. People recognise you, and you leave your sketchbook on a table when you walk away, or like leave it on the counter usually when I go to get my coffee, and I forget to put it on the tray. And then somebody looks at it and goes, "Oh, that's yours, isn't it?" It's got your picture in it. Let's see. You like Alice I Have Been by Melanie Benjamin. I haven't read that one. Hey Jude. Hey Jude. Oh, I bet you've been getting that for years, haven't you? It's been ages since you've seen this. Yes. Are you working in a big scrapbook? It's not a big scrapbook, it's a big sketchbook. It's a fairly big sketchbook as opposed to a big stupid sketchbook. It's a fairly big stupid sketchbook. It's only 100 pages instead of 600. Have I got that right? My maths is so bad, you guys. It's... Let me check, okay? Let me check. Here we go. Case-bound sketchbooks. Portrait, graduate portrait. 46 pages, 92 sides on the small ones. Oh, hang on, they're different amounts. Right, this one is 100 sides, basically, plus a front and back. So 96 sides plus 100 back, front and back, which is 100 pages as far as I'm concerned. It's close enough. 170, so it's the same as the 170 GSM cartridge paper, so it's the same as the art alternatives. Okay. Just checking. So, 96 sides versus 600 sides. You'd need 6 of these. I was right the first time, wasn't I? Six of these. That's why I've got 5 listed to order. Which explains, actually, why looking at that, if you think 3 times that thickness is not too bad, double 3 times that thickness, you go, oh, that's huge. So that explains why everybody is so about this sketchbook. Or not about this sketchbook, but the 600-page beast. I still would like the 600-page beast, but I just can't get it here. It's not happening. So what are we going to draw on this page? Well, normally I wouldn't draw straight on the first page of my sketchbook. Okay, I would keep that page until later in the sketchbook. Usually until either I feel settled into the sketchbook and it no longer feels new, or until this page ends up having a mark or something on it and then it doesn't feel like a blank, intimidating page. But I will always start a different page. So I've already started a page where the bookmark is, in inverted commas. There's no bookmark, I just picked a page at random. Now it's broken in, I feel I can go to this page and work on this one. The problem with your huge one is it's very heavy to hold. Yes, Burgess said the same thing, and that's what's good about this one. Because it's only 1/6 of the size at a time, yes, it's heavy, but it's not, you know, even with a bad shoulder, I wouldn't feel too bad about putting this in my really big crossbody messenger bag and carrying it around for the day. I mean, I wouldn't. And if I did, I would be in the car anyway, so I wouldn't be walking a lot or anything like that. But there's no way you could take that big beast of a sketchbook out with you anywhere, even in a car. It would be ridiculous. Whereas this one, I feel like if I really wanted to take it and I felt like I could do it that day, I don't think this would be a problem. I could put it in my big messenger bag, wear it crossbody, and yes, it would be heavy. I'd have to be very careful about what else I took with me, but it wouldn't be so heavy that it's ridiculous. Burgess actually said she gave her 600-page one away to her, did she say to her daughter, I think? Because it was too heavy for her, it kept aggravating her shoulder every time she picked it up. And I've got the same problem. I've got the same problem with my shoulders and with my wrists and hands. So I'm very careful not to exacerbate that problem. So I think this one is a good alternative. 100 pages at a time. The concept of filling 6 of these, I mean, just filling one of them, I'm looking at it and going, well, it's going to take a while, but it's doable. But the concept of filling 6 of them, I can see now why everybody bought the 600-page sketchbook and wanted it so badly and then found it intimidating. Honestly, I can see why. I think I would find a 600-page one of these intimidating. I'm looking at the 100-page one and going, well, I can do it, it's just going to take a while. Okay? So let's sketch. Now, what do you do? Let's get some audience participation going. What do you do when you've got a blank page in your sketchbook and you think, right, I want to sketch something? Before you hit that, oh, but I don't know what to sketch, and call it art block and then give up and go and watch Game of Thrones or something, where do you look for inspiration? Where's the first place you look for inspiration? Everybody. And go. Because everybody's first inspiration page is going to be different. So where is the first place you look to for inspiration? Your Book of Shadows is one of those big 600-page sketchbooks. Yeah, I would have liked it for that as well. But to be honest, I've got an A5 600-page sketchbook, and that's intimidating. So I don't think I'd get on with a 600-page one. Out the window. Right, so you take inspiration from just whatever's outside. Pinterest. Yep, another good one. There's no right answer or wrong answer to this. We're just getting ideas, you know. Here's a whole list of places. You know, if Lisa looks out the window and goes, I've drawn that before, it's boring. Where else can you go? Pinterest. Lots of Pinterest. Instagram. Colours, watercolours and swatching. Yes. When in doubt, swatch. Now that's what I do. If I ever get to that point of, well, I've looked at all the places I normally look and I'm still not inspired, that's what I do. I just swatch. Pinterest, nature or YouTube videos. Yeah. For me, oh, you look for challenges. Ashley looks for challenges that are going on. That's another thing I do, yes. I do like to collect challenges at the beginning of the month, although I very rarely do one. I do By Bun's April Art Challenge every year and fail to complete it. Or rather, I should say I fail to complete the April Art Challenge every year. And every year I start Inktober but don't finish it. But I always have inspiration somewhere, like in the front of this sketchbook. I've got a couple of summer prompts challenges. This was a Midsummer Night's Art Challenge, Spooky Summer Challenge. Somebody else is doing one that's, what did she call it? It's here. No, that's what we need to go through. No. Here she is. She's called it, it's TLU Jan Art. I'm not sure how to say her username, but it's TLU Jan Art. Oh, Stuck Inside Art Challenge. Because she's been in isolation since March. So she's run out of art challenges to do, so she's made her own. So there's 17 on this to get you through August. But it's not timed or anything. It's not, you know, the first 17 days of August or anything like that. It's just like, here's 17 prompts. See what you can do with it. Whenever. So that one will be going in my book as well. Things on your desk, craft table or art supplies, right. So a lot of people are going for either what's in front of them, what's around them, or something that they can easily access for inspiration, like Pinterest or Instagram or whatever. Zen doodles, if you just want to do something mindless. Yes, that's where swatching comes in handy as well. Favourite illustrated books. Okay. I tend to get my inspiration either from whatever I'm watching. So if I'm listening to a podcast or an audiobook, or I'm watching a movie, I will draw whatever I'm looking at. But the first place I go for inspiration is my phone. Because my phone always has all sorts of crap on it. You wouldn't believe the kind of crap I've got on my phone. Because I save things off Pinterest and off Instagram and, you know, just odd bits and pieces that I think, oh, I really like that. And at the time I might not know why I like it. Let's just delete these out. That's my order. So for the instance, this is from Life Illustrations. I love her work, but she owns Chameleons. And look at this boy. This is Cyrus. Isn't he beautiful? Look at those colours. So straight away I screenshotted that. I was like, I'm having a colour of him. And then I found her other one in her stories. So he's a different colourway. So straight away we've got two chameleons. Well, technically three chameleons, because he's in a different pose there, that we could technically draw on a page. There's another picture of him and another one. Basically just so I could get a lot of different ideas for his colour. This is just a funny thing I liked. That's for Edgar Allan Poe. Lucky in his PJs. Look at him, isn't he cute? He is so stinking cute. It's fuzzy because it was a photograph of the screen that I sent to my friend. But look how stinking cute he is. Got my Oracle card from this month. Stop procrastinating. That's more of a journal page, I feel. I've got this, which is a Siegfried Reinhardt. Look at this fur. Ugh. Very prolific Art Deco artist, but he mainly drew animals and things on lithographs. And look at the way all the different stuff is just collaged together. It's almost like he's done all these little drawings and then stuck them together onto one big page and filled in the gaps with black. It's so interesting. It's such an interesting technique. Yeah, just all sorts of inspiration. So let's go back to the beginning. What was I most inspired in recently? That inspired me. That dude. So I'm going to update my Google Photos. Oops. I've got some private stuff on there, so I'm just moving it out of the way while I update it. There's that. You can see it a bit better there, look. Isn't it awesome? But it literally does look like he's cut bits out. He's drawn bits on paper and cut them out and collaged them together. It's such a cool style. Very, very stylised. Siegfried Reinhardt, if you missed his name. Okay. So that should not be on here now, so I can download it to... There he is. So I can download it to my iPad, which would be easier for you guys to see then. Let's also have the orange one. And let's also have the guy with the leaf. So that was the thing that I was inspired by this morning. I really loved the colours. I've got to charge this. So that's where I'm going to start. I usually crop things down because I've already got a copy of it on Google Photos. I know who it's by and everything else, so I can properly reference it. This one's actually got her personal account and her chameleon account, so no, I didn't ask you to straighten anything, did I? And then there's this one. So in fact, let's copy. Okay. Oh, it's up there. I always forget that. No. Where's the button gone? My iPad and my computer, my phone use exactly the same options. Why can't I paste it? Well, that's just really annoying, isn't it? So let's just crop it down. Let's have this guy first. Because then you can see better detail. You see how much better that is. And then I'll have to go to download it again. To get the other version. I don't know why I can't duplicate it. I figured out how to do it the other day. So there's the other one. Much easier to see what's going on. Okay, so I've got 4 potential chameleons. Let's see how we go, shall we? So I've literally just gone onto my phone and picked something that I had previously saved. Now, as it happens, it came from Instagram. But what I find is, if you go onto Instagram or Pinterest or whatever, with the idea of, oh, I'm going to go and look for inspiration, what you generally tend to find is not inspiration. What you find is overwhelm. And, oh my God, everybody's so much better than me. I can't even decide what to draw and all these people are doing amazing things. I suck. That's what you generally find on Pinterest and Instagram. So I find it's better, personally, to just take a screenshot or download or snapshot of something that, as I'm passing it, I find it inspiring in that moment. And then later on, when I'm like, I want to draw something, what shall I draw? I go to my camera roll and just go through my stuff. It also gives me the opportunity to delete a lot of the crap that's on there. But it also gives you an opportunity to look at things and go, well, I am inspired by that, but I don't want to draw that, or it's somebody else's art. What is it that I'm particularly, maybe it's the colour scheme that you're particularly enchanted with rather than what the drawing is. Maybe it's the style of inking, or maybe it's the subject, but you wouldn't draw it like that. So you've got to pick out what it is that inspired you and what made you go, ooh, I really like that. And if you can always get back to that point where you can say, I know what I really liked about that, then you've always got inspiration at your fingertips. And if you're going to spend so much of your time scrolling things like Pinterest and Instagram, you might as well, instead of just pinning and saving, just screenshot something that really grabs your attention. If after a couple of days it doesn't grab your attention anymore, delete it. If it's still grabbing your attention, draw it or use the colour scheme or something. So I love this guy. He's the one who's grabbing me first. And I'm also thinking compositionally, I could actually fit 3 of these guys, maybe more. So compositionally, I'm thinking I like this guy for down here. So the next thing I'm going to do is start sketching my composition. So leaf guy in there. Let's give him an eye, just for the hell of it. This guy is on a hand. Now I'd quite like him to be there, but I don't want the arm coming across. I also don't want to draw a hand. So how about we turn this into a trunk of a tree, and let's see, he's square. He's roughly square. So let's take roughly square. Roughly square. So he's going to go in there. Head, back, tail, leg, elbow, tree trunk. Okay, and then I love this guy. He's just so fun. We have to make up his tail because I can't see what his tail's doing. and we're going to have to make up his arm. But look how fun he is. So if we put him here as the centerpiece, he's going to fit nicely into there. So let's put him there. His arm is going to come down this way, so we can potentially hide his hand behind him. And then he's got a big fishy shaped body. So I've never noticed how fishy shaped they are. It's weird because I absolutely love chameleons, but I don't like fish. Mostly because of the shape of them. So he's got a big warty chin and a wibble. Wimple? Wimple? Is that the right word? It's a nun's habit, isn't it? But what's the... A waddle! That's the word. Wimple is a nun's habit. A waddle is the bit that goes under the chin. So if we put him here, like that, we don't need to worry about his tail then, because we're only doing that much of him. And then this guy, looking seriously unimpressed, we could actually use this guy, but use the head of this one. So if I turn that one around, edit, flip, so this head is not particularly interesting, but this one is, because you can see the colour on his head, you can see his eye there. So how about we use this composition, but we draw this guy? Get inspiration from Burgess because she captures everyday life, or you, just listening to you talk, I get inspired. That's because I have so many ideas. My squirrels run rampant and there's just more ideas than I can possibly use in a day. So feel free to take some of my ideas and use them. For anyone who joined late, by the way, you missed the announcement for Halloween Chronicles at the beginning. Oh, I'm such a tease. I could tell you all about it, but no, I already did it at the beginning of the video. We're doing poetry. This year's Halloween Chronicles is going to be all about you getting inspired by the poetry of Edgar Allan Poe. Oh yeah. Nevermore! Nevermore! We're going gothic this year, girls. And boys. Sorry, John. You have a big box of printed images that you use as starting points for inspiration. Yes. I have a composition book. I don't think I've got it to hand. But I have a composition book just full of magazine images and things that I've just collected that I don't want to use for journaling or scrapbooking or junk journaling or whatever, but I love the pictures. I love the imagery, so I just collage them together into one big composition book, and then I flick through it looking for inspiration occasionally. Okay. Firstly, I'm going to get rid of some of this that we don't need. So I don't need the graphite. That's just there to give me an idea of where the composition is going to be. So let's get rid of that first off. I'll get rid of it properly later. And I think I'm in the mood for purple today. Probably won't look purple to you because purple is notoriously hard. Ooh, actually, what about this? What about this one? Because this is like, ooh, what about these two? Because this is like red, white and blue. If you can get the blue to come out, it's red, white and blue. It seems to only draw red when I use it, but it's supposed to draw blue as well, eventually. And this one is all fire colours. Ooh. Yeah, why not? Why not? Hey? Okay, so that's this guy. Where's the other guy? Here he is. Okay, so I only need part of him, so I'm going to crop him down. So his elbow, let's say that's about that distance. So there's his little dippy bit, and we'll go this side the same width. I'm going to need about that much of him, I think. That's a lot easier to see on screen as well then. So let's get some roughs in. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw him in rough again with... Put on some good music. Yes, absolutely. Today's music is sponsored by... Sponsored, is that the right word? It's Katie Shesko. It's my admin. She's got her own YouTube channel. Her album is for sale. All the links are down below in the description. Go check her out. Show her some support. Her music is awesome. She also streams on Twitch. Let's see. Let's get this big old triangle of a mouth in first, shall we? So I'm going to say it's about that shape. These are the Kohinoor Hardmouth Magic pencils, by the way. There are several different sets. These are the multis, the Magic multis, which are about 5 different ones in 3 contrasting colours. But there's also a set that are like, the pencil is 3 blues or 3 greens or 3 browns or whatever. So there's a couple of different types of them. Okay. So I'm looking at that there. That distance, the underneath of his mouth is about halfway. So if his dip comes down there, then his top of his head is going to be about there. Maybe there. Okay, so let's get an idea of that in, and his nose comes down this way, and he's got a big flat bit. It goes round like that. And then this eye takes up almost this entire space. From there to there. So there's your circle. If you can't draw a circle, draw a square first. I'm getting better at drawing circles, but if you can't get a circle, draw squares. Like that. And then just round off the edges. Where's my other eraser gone? I had it here earlier. What have I done with it? Ah, I put it away. Foiled again! By my own tidying up skills. So that's where his eye is going to be. His head is coming down like that. And up. He goes up and round like that. And he's got another bit going up around to there. His back. He's kind of hunchy, so let's bring his back down a little bit and take it up a little bit further. Just to exaggerate that hump. What else have we got? His dippy bit is just behind his eye, so that's here. It's going to go up like that, and it comes down almost a 90-degree angle, and then puffs out around his chin. Like that. So that will go behind the head of that one. So let's erase that bit, because we're not going to need that bit. Shoulder. This bit here. It's almost in line with his eye. So if we take that there and draw a shoulder, it's about the same size as his eye as well. So let's do it about there. And then he's got his elbow comes down. Oops. His elbow is in line with his dippy bit down here as well. So his elbow is going to come down to about here. I'm going to make it a little bit longer because I don't think that's quite long enough. I'm not trying to reproduce him, I'm just trying to use him for inspiration. So his hand is way up here. There's something not quite right with this configuration here. So what's going wrong? Yep, that's in about the right place. I think this doesn't come down far enough. I think that's the problem. Ah, yeah, look, that joins there, and I've got it joining his shoulder, so it should be coming down here. So there's his arm, and this should be coming right down here and going across. There we go, that's better. But that's where we wanted it to be, so that means his shoulder's in the wrong place. Okay, so let's put that back in. Trial and error, we'll get there in a minute. That's actually where we wanted it to be. So this is in the wrong place. So if that's his, let's make that his arm, and then add his shoulder to it, above. It's going to be a little bit too close to his mouth maybe, but that then means that his arm is going to come down here. That's more like it, there we go. Sketching in your sketchbook, you are not looking to produce finished pieces of art. Oh, his hands are like Kermit the Frog's. He's got little thumbs like Kermit the Frog. He almost looks like a Muppet, that's really funny. I'm going to have to make the rest of this up, so I'm guessing his arm comes up and in around a little elbow here. And here have fingers. So have any of our other pictures got the fingers? Not really. Not seeing the fingers. Okay, so let's go and find chameleon. Let's find out what their feet look like. Chameleon, foot. How many hands do we have? Oh! Oh, it's got 2 thumbs and 3 fingers. Oh, how strange. I didn't know that. 2 thumbs and 3 fingers. How weird. That explains why they look like that shape. How funny. Okay, so we want one going that way. So, well, that's close enough. Oh, look at that. How weird is that? So they've got 2 thumbs together and then 3 fingers. That's so peculiar. I love it. Let's have a look at images, see if we've got anything else that's close to what we're looking for. Look, 2 thumbs and 3 fingers. That's so weird. So weird. I'll know what I'm looking for when I see it. There's what we're looking for. Oh, okay, so that thumb is actually bent back on that one. But this shows me what the front fingers look like. So he's actually got an angle bit here. And his fingers are pointy. And they're all the same length. Which I would never have guessed. So there's the 3. Maybe that's the front thumb that we were looking at on the other one. Let's have a look. What else have we got? Ooh. This is actually not too bad. So he's got his thumbs are shorter and flatter, and they group together. So let's give him something to hold on to. Let's give him a branch. He needs to be a thin one. We may actually find that we lose a lot of this hand because the head of the other one's going to be here, and of course that was the whole point of putting the head of the other one there, was so we didn't have to draw the hand. But we found out that chameleons have 2 thumbs and 3 fingers, which we didn't know before, did we? So that's cool. So that's his composition figured out, I think. Let's have a look. Oh, his nose is far too short. That's because I'm sitting at an angle. His nose needs to come, because that's an arc. If you think of that as a hinge, that's an arc. So if you draw it as an arc like that, then you can see where the top of the nose needs to come. It needs to come way out there, like that. His eye is actually slightly pointed at the end, and it's almost got it's almost like a ball in a swivel socket, which is really peculiar. And he's got things on his head that kind of look like teeth. So let's add those in. And they come around this way, and then they curve up a bit. You kind of get a top view, and then they curve that way. They do kind of look like teeth. I'm not going to lie, that's a little creepy. See how you get the different colours as you're moving the pencil? It's really cool. And then he's got a big flat piece here, which I'm guessing is some kind of ear membrane type thing. And he's got lots of little, almost like sequins around that area. So let's put those in. And his back, he's got these funny little nodgy bits on his back. Let's make them nice and jagged, because they're not all pristine. They're kind of double peak things. And not all the same size either. Putting a few extra ones. There we go, I like that. Shoulder. His shoulder is still too chunky, so let's round that down a bit there. And down a bit there. There we go, that's better. And then he's got kind of a dip here where his jawline goes in. And that meets that bit of his head, and that's actually red, so let's turn the pencil around and get a red bit there. And his jawline comes down there. And then this bit, he's got this frilly bit here, which is so fun. And then here, this comes down, and he's got a bit of a crease, and then this comes out, and he's got kind of almost like a gummy tooth look to him. And more of those little ridge things. I don't think those are teeth. I think there's just like, I think those are his lips. I think he's got like ripples around his lips. He's got a couple of ripples there. This side is actually flatter because you can see the inside of the mouth. So that's smooth, that's like his gum line. So this is puffing out here and going down there. Okay. So his mouth, the inside of his mouth is just underneath his eye there, and goes down to about there and back up. And then he's got another bit that comes up here, and he's got another kind of gutter down in there, but I think that's the main shape of his mouth. And then he has got teeth in here, which is kind of cute. And then he's got teeth in here. Actual little teeth. Adorable. This is kind of an old mishmash of flesh and gums and bits of all sorts, really, where it all creases up. So we'll just make that vague. And then he's got this kind of white line around the outside of his mouth here. And the same kind of down here. Let's make his eye darker, give him some personality. How's he looking? Not too bad, actually. There's something still wrong down here, but in all honesty, I think I'm probably going to draw this guy over the top, so I'm not overly worried about not being able to get this bit right, because I think most of it's going to be hidden. So let's draw the other guy. So we're drawing this composition with the other guy's head. So if this head is going to be around here, he's like a very kind of squished heart shape almost, with a very rounded nose. So his eye's going to be maybe about there. So yeah, I think we can get away with not worrying about too much about what's going on here. We've got a tree limb. No, what's it called? You know, grows on trees. So let's draw that in. Big leaf there. Doesn't really matter what type of leaf it is, it's just a big leaf. I think that would look better if I did it in the cool colour, actually, because it's green. It'll make him stand out when I draw him in orange behind. There we go, that's better. Okay, I think actually that should come down a bit further. This is all erasable anyway, don't worry. I know I'm quite heavy-handed with my coloured pencils, but it doesn't matter. So, if that's his neck and his head, and his nose. So there's that ridge above his eye. Comes down. Comes back up and across like that again. And then it comes in. And then he's got kind of a rounded mouth there. And this goes back up over here again. On this eye, you can actually see that it's very, very rounded there, but it's almost flat here. And his eye is turned down this time. See his fun mouth. Look how his mouth looks when it's closed. He looks like he's got teeth on the outside of his mouth. He looks like he's got teeth everywhere. Dude. Okay, so now we can get rid of these bits on this one. I think if we move this branch down, what we can do is make his fingers curl up around the branch like that. So he looks a bit less like he's going to tickle the other guy under the chin. There we go, I think that's better. How are we doing so far? Yeah, not bad actually. I mean, it's not great, but I'm not trying to make it great. I'm doing a sketch. If you're ever sketching in your sketchbook, doing something loose and, you know, just practicing, and somebody comes up to you and says, well, that's not very good, I could do better than that, hand them a bit of paper and say, by all means, go ahead. Because sketchbooks are not supposed to be good, they're supposed to be for practice. If your practice in your sketchbook and everything you do in your sketchbook is right first time, you're not stretching yourself. You're just repeating what you already know. You're not practicing, you're just regurgitating. So if you draw something new and it turns out recognisable but not great, that's good. That gives you a place to start from next time. Reptiles are spooky. I like reptiles. I like, especially chameleons. Chameleons are just adorable. And this guy up here, I don't know, do I? Yeah, I do want to draw him. Like a little guy up here. So he's going to be, his head is kind of that shape. Incidentally, this is, I can't remember his name, Striper, I think? Something like that. Striper, and this is Cyrus. So the blue and yellow one is Cyrus, and he is the son of Striper, and Striper is blind, which for a chameleon is amazing, because blind chameleons, for a start, they only last between something like 4 and 8 years, but also most of their senses come from their eyesight. 90% of them surviving the wild comes from their eyesight. They've got very poor hearing and so on. So for a blind chameleon, even in captivity, to still keep going is just incredible. So this guy has got a big round swoop. That looks like about the right shape. He's a chameleon, he moves about, he doesn't have to be exact. So let's give him an arm here. Shoulder, arm, back leg is in line with that arm, so around here. He's got a little knobbly knee, so cute. A little ankle, a big ankle, and it almost looks like he's holding on to his own leg, which is quite entertaining. That's his 3 fingers, and he looks like he's got, they look like they've got like fingers like that and then another joint on the end, so they're extra long. And that big elbow joint there, ankle joint, whatever it is. And coming up and then down sharply for his belly behind his leg. And then this bit is you've just got some, it comes down. I think it maybe should have come down a little bit more, but let's see if we can get it to curve down so that it goes behind him and comes back up. Yeah, that's a bit better. And it kind of goes straighter down here and then goes up back up behind. What we're going to call a tree limb. I know it's a hand. I don't care. I don't like drawing hands. I'm not going to draw a hand. So his little fingers coming down this way, like that. His 3 fingers, like that. I've drawn him 4 fingers. 3 fingers, please. 1, 2, 3. There we go. We'll call that the branch coming out there. Maybe it go down. Maybe we'll bring it down behind this leaf. Makes sense. Now it coming back up here, and then it comes up under him there. So it's going to come up and under and along here. He's resting his chin on it, so it's going to overlap a little bit there. Let's take it out there. Maybe we can put a leaf on the end or something. Maybe he's heading off down there to go and get his leaf. This is bending down here, so maybe we could put a knot in the tree here. So perhaps this tree branch is coming up that way and going off over there. Yeah. Maybe we could even put a little knot in this tree here just to give it a little bit of interest. It echoes the shape here then. And perhaps behind him, well, let's get his head in first. So he's got this crest as well, but it's a different shape, which is interesting. I wonder if all chameleons' crests are different shapes. Eyes about there. Top of his head. Other side of his head. Comes around down there. Flat. Little jaw on this one. Much less pronounced. It actually goes back flat against his shoulder there, so that's going to come up there a bit and down across there. And his mouth is about here. He looks like a sad clown, look. He's got kind of like clown lips. Oh. I think his eye needs to be a bit bigger. Let's rectify that. There we go, that's better. He doesn't have such quite pronounced markings on his nose either. His it comes across here and then it comes straight, and that's his look less like teeth and more like a brick wall. It's kind of fun, and he's got a ridge down the middle of his head as well by the look of it. Maybe that's something they get as they get older. I don't know. Okay, I think we need to arch him up a little bit more. He's a bit more cat-shaped. Yes, that's better. And again, his thing on his back is not nearly as defined as the other one. He's just kind of got a ridge as opposed to individual spikes. And they do separate out a little bit down here, but not much. And then he's got this big white stripe. He's got a go faster stripe all across his, which is kind of that shape. His foot, what's going on with his foot here? His foot actually bends up that way as well. Oh, that's his thumbs. Oh, that's his thumbs from this foot. Here we go. That's his. He is holding onto his own leg, and that's why that only looks like 2, because he's got 3 going that way and 2 going this way. So they got 5 fingers, but they can kind of do that with them, which is really interesting. Currently scraping white emulsion off your craft desk. Why do you do it? I don't know. Sticky back plastic is so much easier. Okay, I'm liking this composition. I'm actually quite liking how they all look. I mean, they're not stupendous by any means, but it's a good composition, and I like how it's looking so far. So, I wanted to test water-based media on it. I've already tested acrylic. I was going to test watercolour, but I kind of think these guys would look better in gouache, to be honest, because they're so bright and colourful. I'm thinking maybe I'll just throw some gouache at it. And guess what? I've got some new gouache to play with. So why don't we do that? You got the rest of the fabric you ordered. Ooh, nice. Lisa, my buddy, gifted me this. It's the Artex Jelly Cup Gouache. I have played a little bit, but I haven't really tested it out. I can tell you that it's not the box that is airtight. The box is absolutely not airtight. I tested it before I opened the gouache. I put some water into the bottom of the thing with all the jellies out of it and sealed it up and left it for a day, and the water evaporated. So it's absolutely not airtight or watertight. So it's something in the jelly consistency itself that keeps it damp. My guess is that it's probably got some kind of silicone in there or something like that, something that really absorbs water, and that's what stops it evaporating away and crumbling and everything. But these have been open since I received them. Well, since the day after I received them, because I tested the thing first to see if it was airtight. I haven't opened this one yet because there's 2 whites. There's a mixing white and there's a titanium white. But because most of these are pastel, I don't think I need mixing white at the moment. So I haven't opened it yet. This is zinc white and this is, well, they're both titanium white. One is titanium white, one is titanium zinc white. Titanium white is thick and opaque. Titanium zinc white is slightly cheaper and not as opaque. And if you mix the 2 together, you basically get a mixing white. It's a cheaper version. Like it's been watered down with zinc white, basically. So I don't think at the moment I'm going to need a mixing white because there's so much colour here that's pastel. But if you look at them, and I would not normally pick pastels, but look at all these grungy pastels. Look at that lavender grey, grungy green, grungy muddy minty colour, grungy denimy blue. Ugh. I actually prefer this side of the palette to this side, which is amazing because these are all dark colours. But I really like all these grungy colours. This is still in the colourway that they set it up in. I forgot that I hadn't done that. I don't know if it's vegan, but it will tell you. There's so much information on their site that it will tell you somewhere if it is. Let's have a look. Artex Jelly Gouache vegan. Doesn't say, but there is a list of vegan art supplies. Doublecheckvegan.com. There's a list of vegan art supplies. That might be useful for checking things the other way. Vegan gouache. De La Rowney's designer gouache, except for a few colours. Holbein's. That's obvious, because things like certain colours of red, it has cochineal in it, which is beetles, which is definitely not vegan, but that's the colour. So the colour compound itself is made from beetles, so it's not vegan. So the gouache itself might be vegan, but the colour pigment that they put in it is not. Hey Luna, sorry, didn't see you there. Holbein Acryla gouache is vegan. There you go, just get the Acryla one. It dries down like matte acrylic, so you can't re-wet it, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Winsor & Newton designer gouache, except for a whole heap of colours. Schminke Academy gouache, vegan since 2013. All student gouache, and they're all available at Blix and Michaels, so there you go. Definitely known not to be vegan, a lot of the Schminke ones. That's a good list to have, actually. Copic markers are vegan. PH Martins is vegan. Golden is vegan. Most oil paints are vegan, unless they're made with fish oil. Schminke, again, contains beeswax. But again, you know, some vegans don't consider beeswax to be non-vegan, because it depends entirely on how it's harvested and where it comes from. I know a lot of vegans who eat honey because they buy it locally off farmers who are keeping beehives in order to increase the bee population. So they just take the extra honey that drips out of the hive and they sell that. So, you know, everybody makes their own choices, don't they? But that's a handy list. So I can't find anything on this one specifically, but I will let you know if I do. What I can tell you is that the Arteza ones, again, I haven't checked specifically because I'm not vegan. I don't tend to check for things like that. But the Arteza ones, if they are vegan, it says they're vegan. So if it doesn't say they're vegan, assume it's not. So the first thing I want to do with this, because this is not going to work for me. I'm sorry, this is not sensible. This is not, no way is this sensible. First thing I'm going to do is reorder all my paints. Because god damn it, I have a particular order I like my paints in, and you will adhere to it. I don't care what you think you're going to be in. You will follow my order. You will follow my authority. You will respect my authority. That's it, isn't it? There we go. So this is black. Brown. In fact, actually, I'm going to put my other white, my mixing white, down in the bottom corner. So proper white is up here, where it will stay clean. And yes, these are exactly like opening little pots of McDonald's sauce. And yes, it goes absolutely freaking everywhere. I opened 2 and ended up taking out and doing it over the sink because I had it all over me, I had it all over the table, all over the thing, all over each other, all over Maddie, everywhere. So yeah, if you get some of these, look, got it all over me again. If you get some of these, open them over the sink. You'll thank me. Red, pinky mauve, darker mauve. Bluey green. Greeny blue. Bluey green. Actual green. Lighter green. Bright green. Blue. Actually, I'm thinking maybe that one should be down here, because that's more of a blue than a green now I see it with the others. It's a very cool, heavy palette, this colour, this one. But I think I read that there's two different palettes. There's one that's got lots of brights and there's one that's got all these pastels in it. Oh, that's better. Yeah. Let's put that one there. Because then these kind of work that way as well, which is much better. See? That goes with that. We've got black there and then white. That's mixing white. Now I know where my colours are. And I'm covered in Prussian blue, which is, it's beautiful, but it gets everywhere. And it stains your fingers as well. Which is why I have a rag that I don't know why I'm trying to clean my hands, because it's going to be everywhere by the time I'm finished. I'll have stripes across my nose like adamant by the time I'm finished, but... Okay, let's play with some gouache. So like I said, all I've done is swatch these. I haven't really painted with them or tried them specifically. I think I'm going to start with the... Well, common sense would say let's start with that one in the red colours, then do this one in the red colours, and then while these are drying, let's do this. But I want to do that one. Okay. But first, I need some clean water. So I'm going to go make myself a coffee before I do anything else. So if thou wantest a coffee break, now is the time to go and get it. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. Right, according to Amazon, the Dougford for the Dougs, the Dougford should be here in about, well, it says by 5:30, but he's not within his 8 things yet. So unless he's coming straight from 3 miles away to here, which I doubt, the time is wrong. So we've got a little while yet. And then once he's here, I've just prepped my jacket potato, so I'm going to throw the air fryer on for its first half hour, because mine only cooks in batches of half an hour, and it takes an hour to do a jacket potato. So I'll put that half hour on, and then once that timer goes, I'll stop, and I'll go and put it on for another half hour and tie up, or stop streaming rather, when I have to go and put it on again, so I get a break before I have my dinner. Ah, it's really hot. I think I'm going to put my fan on. Because it's clammy and airless and I don't like it. Now, given that we've only got half an hour, I'm actually thinking, or not half an hour, but maybe till about 6:15-ish, plus a break when he gets here with the dog food, because I'll have to go and answer the door, obviously. It's ridiculous. I ordered 3 things from Amazon, and I ordered them on different days so that they would all be delivered today, because I thought, you know, if I do that, stagger the orders so that the deliveries are all on the same day, they'll only have to come out once. Well, so far they've been out twice. And they're still coming back with the dog food. Because I'm still shielding, so I haven't... I'm still ordering stuff online, so I've had to order my coffee and everything this morning. Because God forbid we run out of coffee. We can manage without food, but let's not run out of coffee. I'm going to use this brush, because gouache is notorious for killing your brushes. And this brush is already on its way out, so it doesn't really matter if this one gets beaten up by the gouache. Okay. Now, I know originally I said I was going to do these two, because that's on the left, and then you'd do that one, but I don't think I've got time to do all 3. So I think I'm going to work on this guy. So where's his one with his colours? There it is. There's his colours. Oh, he's beautiful. Maybe I do have time if I don't go too detailed. Maybe if I just do the paint and don't worry about the pencil. I can do the pencil later. Okay, belay that, belay that. Let's start with yellow. And I'm just going to block in first, so I'm just going to block in colour. So I'm going to start with... He's got kind of the bright yellow and the goldy yellow going on, so I think I'll start with the bright yellow. And because it's really humid, I'm going to do it in a wash rather than just straight out of the tub. You can use these straight out of the tub, but I'm just going to mix it with a little bit of water so it doesn't dry out completely on me before I've finished. So, he's got 1, 2, 3, and then a double one. So let's say his main yellow is here, and he's got a smaller one here, and then he's got kind of a double one there. I don't know if it's a double one or 2 coming in together. And he's got kind of a little, almost double one there. Looks like a little heart shape. And then he's got a yellow there, and a yellow here coming down behind his leg. Yellow here. Oh, his leg is supposed to be going behind the tree trunk, but never mind. His tail's supposed to be going behind the tree trunk, but I don't care. More to paint. Oh, I'm following the wrong line. Should be going there. And then that goes up behind there, and then this is yellow. And this stripe continues down here onto his belly. This one comes down into his leg. This one comes down and splits in two on his tummy. That one doesn't go anywhere, it peters out. This one comes down behind his arm there. This behind his ear, and his ear, and his eye cheek behind the eye thing. And his nose here, he's almost like the top half of his head is yellow, actually, with red and orange and peachy, pinky colours. He's got a bit of a yellow patch and an armband, and then a wristband here. Okay, this one I was going to do the same colours. Was I going to do it the same colours or that colour? I kind of feel like he'd be better in the red and... Let's do him in this colour. We'll use this head, but I'm going to do him in these colours. Because I just think it will look more balanced with the green leaf, with the two hot colours and the two cool colours. I just think that'll feel a bit more balanced for the composition. It's not a great composition, but it's, you know, the leaf is part of the composition, and it shouldn't be really. The three eyes should be part of the composition, but the leaf kind of makes you go like that. So that works. The point of the leaf being over here is to, instead of going duh, 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 and stopping, you go up the leaf and then you go back around here, because that follows the curve. Like that. So your eye follows around. Look how bright that yellow is. Wow. It's almost neon. I like it. Okay, so on here he's got... Oh, I've drawn his head differently. Hang on. Because he's got a different shaped crest. So his crest actually comes up at the back there and then comes down here like that. There we go, that's better. So all of this is going to be yellow. Look at how very bright this is. Wow. And it's watered down. This is watered down and it still looks neon. Oof. His mouth is kind of yellowy as well, so let's put that in. We can paint over it with white later and make it more creamy. Oh, he's got some lighter markings on his shoulder. So he's got a patch there. He's got a light marking there, and he's got a little triangle on his elbow. So now we have to bring that down here. So he's got a patch on his shoulder, let's say about like that. And then he's got his elbow corner, and then he's got a patch on his arm. Okay, and then he's got his double, and his patch behind his ear. And the bit that goes down under the white, that goes down to his belly. He's got the one that doesn't go down, and then he's got this one that's really bright and comes all the way down, and then under here and down to his belly again. And then this one splits into two. And then there's a kind of a smudgy one there. Okay. Not too bad. So let's get some peachy orange in. I'm going to use the peachy, the not very orangey orange, more of the peachy orange, like a pastel orange almost, rather than the bright orange. I think that's a bit more what I'm looking for. So where's his sections? It's mostly around his head here, isn't it? So He's kind of got sections here around this yellow where it goes into the red. So I'm just going to paint this whole area orange, and then we'll go in with the red and kind of blend it in. This is going to end up kind of reddish and purple, so I'm just going to paint it orange to begin with. There's kind of orangey patches within his yellow bits, so I'm just adding those in where I feel like it works. Let's give him a little bit of kind of shadowy. That foot is kind of orangey pink, but it's darkened. This foot is red. And then this bit, it's almost like he's got red and yellow striped tail, and then the underside of his tail is orange. So I'm going to put that all the way around there, up into that thing, and blend it up a bit, like that. And then this bit is kind of coming up as well. It's almost like his underside has kind of more orange and his top has more red. And gouache is opaque, so we can always paint over any of this with red that we need to. My God, that yellow is neon. Okay. So now we're going to do the same down here. So let's do round his head and his mouth, like that. He's got a big red patch on his mouth here, but I'm going to do the red over the top of the orange. I think it'll look better. And yes, I did angle my fan away from where I'm painting, so his belly is kind of orangey, coming up, and he's under his neck, and the inside of his arms are kind of orangey, and then the red is mostly on top and around these bits here. Yep. Now, rather than using the red on its own, which I think will be too stark, I'm going to mix the red into what's left of this yellow, this peach colour, because I think that'll just take the edge off the red just enough that it doesn't look quite so dramatically different. It's a good way of keeping the tones in a colour scheme if you mix a little bit of one of your colours into the other. So it just tones the red down, almost makes it like a pastel dark red, which is kind of cool. So all of these bits have white on them, and I'll worry about that afterwards. So I'm just going to paint it all in red initially. Let's get his spikes in. Oop. This paintbrush doesn't want to do spikes. Okay. Fine, we'll do spikes later. Just put a blob in. Just blob. Okay? Blob. There we go. Just do blobs. There. So at this point, I'm just filling in the bits that aren't any other colour. Of course, he's got that big Go Faster stripe across the side, the white one. But we'll have to be careful how we paint that in, because the white will pick up the pink underneath, the orange, there, the colours underneath. So we have to be careful with that. I don't yet know how well these paints. I've done it again. I'm not following the right line. I don't yet know how well these paints pick up, so we'll have to see. goes. I'll worry about shading and all that kind of stuff later. That's where I'll add pencil. So he does have a little red patch on this bit of his leg. Okay, now this is where the blend into the orange is happening. So I'm just going to bring the red up over the orange, but I'm not trying to paint out the orange. What I'm trying to do is just add the red where it's going to blend with the orange, and then we'll see how it blends together. So he's got kind of little markings on his jaw here and down here. So let's see if that blends together. If it does, then we know that the paint lifts, which means painting in that white stripe is going to be a bit of a problem. So let's see. Circular motions, and yeah, there's that red blending. Oh, the orange is lifting straight up and blending in with the pink orange. Look, the orange is lifting straight up and blending in with the red. Look at that. Absolutely. So those colours will lift straight up. So if I paint over the white here with gouache, it's going to pick up the red underneath. You've had people tell you you're being too careful, but you have asthma. Yeah, I have asthma. And I'm very susceptible to anything that goes to the chest because I have sarcoidosis in my lungs. So although I'm not considered particularly overly vulnerable, if I caught it, it would be bad. And I don't want to end up on a respirator in the hospital, thank you. So I'd rather not catch it. Better to be safe and careful. Yeah. I would like to get out and about in the car though. I really do want to get my car on the road. But every time I say that, either we get the belay that from the government, or we get everybody go back to work. Which means either way, I either don't want to get the car started, or I do want to get the car started, and so does everybody else. So, okay, so now I know it blends, I can go in with a better brush. Well, not a better brush, a more suitable brush. There's nothing wrong with this brush. I'm not saying this brush is bad. I'm just saying a more suitable brush for the size and shape. But in the meantime, I'm going to fill in these bits. Because pretty much any of this that isn't white is going to be red, or red and pink. Let's get similar markings going here on the orange as we've got going on there. So he's got that red stripe that goes up the back of his head and comes up and down. Bit of red on his mouth, bit of red on his chin. I'm not trying to make it look like the exact same chameleon, because it's not. I drew that one and I'm colouring in with that one. But I want them to kind of match each other at least, you know. Like they say about eyebrows, they're sisters, not twins. So this is going to be orangey pink. Need to add a little bit more of that red just to get the eye done. And that eye needs doing as well. So I'm actually using more red in it this time for the eye. Reason being, I'm going to use the proper red for the red and blue one. So it'll be a different colour red, but it will still complement the others. Damn, it looks good on screen. It looks better on screen than it does in real life, guys. I'm telling you, it really does. The colours are stupendous on screen, but in real life they kind of look a little bit chalky, which is how they should look, because that's what gouache does. It looks chalky. Okay, I'm thinking this nice cool green here would be a good one for the leaf. Should have mixed it with water first. It works a lot better if you mix it with water on the palette first and then apply it, I found. Otherwise it does this. See, it goes a bit, it kind of separates if you try and do it on the paper, whereas if you mix it with water first, it doesn't separate. But that's okay, we'll just give it another coat. It's a bad habit to mix it on the paper anyway. You should mix it on the palette first, really. See? Works much better. But this particular paint doesn't blend well on the paper. It prefers to be blended on the palette. Whereas a lot of gouache, you can really blend it together on the paper. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little bit of the red to the green to get a shadow colour, which should be a kind of purpley grey, given the two colours we're mixing together. So where's our leaf gone? So our leaf has, well, our leaf is a peculiar kind of leaf. It's got a lot of white on it, but I'm going to give it shadow under here and shadow here, and maybe use that same light colour just watered down a bit for this bit, and I can go over that with white later and add some dimension to it. Yeah, I like that. Okie dokie. Bonus points, if I mix this red and this green together, what colour am I going to get? I'm going to get a really dark muddy colour. And that purpley colour with a little bit of something neutral like this brown will give me a really nice black. There we go. Maybe a little bit more red, a little bit more green. There we go. That's giving me a really nice black colour, or at least very, very, very dark brown colour that I can use as a base for the eyes, for all three of them. So I've now got a base tone on all three of them that's kind of a neutral colour that I can work with and make darker. Let's check where's the dog food. Well, it's no longer due by 6, it's now due sometime before 9. Maybe he's got lost. The driver has a few more deliveries on the way to your address. Yeah, I didn't think he'd be here by 6. That's okay, we're busy painting, so we don't care. I'm going to take some of the white and I'm going to lay it down in that stripe. Hi baby. Nice and thick, and only I'm just using like really thick paint. I'm just blobbing it on there where I want it to be, because this is picking up already even without adding water. You can see it's going streaky and pinky. It's picking up the white, the red underneath. But if I put the white down now, I can see where it's supposed to go, and I can always go in and colour that over with acrylic, 2 coats of acrylic, and that'll be... In fact, I could put a bit of matte medium over it and then use white acrylic, or even use gouache over it. Oh, this is the one. It's the same reference photo. Hello. So, this is this bit of him here. And that and that. should have a little bit more red on him on this one. Just around here. Now everything I've used so far has been watered down. So even though it looks really bright on camera, it's actually not really bright in real life. It's quite watercolory. So by the time I've finished those colours proper, it's going to be really quite punchy, I think. Oh, I love those colours. Okay, let's do the red and blue one. I'm really excited to do these colours. I love these colours. Where's my reference? There he is. Oh, he's so gorgeous. So for this side, I'm going to use, let's turn my palette around. I'm going to use the red on its own. I'm going to use the bright orange and the bright yellow. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that blue because none of those blues are quite what I want. So I might have to mix a bit of white with this blue. But I'm going to start with the red and yellow. So let's start with the really bright yellow. Because there's not much of that. Again, watering it down first. So he's got yellow, yellow. I'm not being precious about this, I'm just putting in roughly where the colours are. He's got lots of yellow stripes on his chin, so let's just do them randomly like that. You can put the red in afterwards. Got some slightly lighter bits there. And kind of a yellowy spot there. And kind of an orangey yellowy spot there. So I've put a little bit of yellow in here. We haven't drawn his belly. Should probably put that in around there somewhere. Okay. So now the bright orange. You'll notice that I'm getting gradually darker with my colours. I'm starting with the light colours first and getting darker because it's gouache. I can do that. I can paint the same way as I want to, as I normally would with acrylic, as opposed to with watercolour. I don't know, it works for me painting this way around. So this is, he's got a lot of orange in around here. He's got a lot of orange around this scaly bit. And in here. And around there. And here. It's got kind of a mottledy bits here, so I'm taking advantage of my dry brush to get kind of a mottled effect that I can then put red in between. This is very red. These bits along here become more orange as they go down. This bit is more orange up here. It'll also help differentiate because this red is mixed with orange. This red is going to be on its own. So this and this one I should be able to see the difference. They won't because this bit is the same colours. They won't look like the same. They're joined at the head or anything like that. Actually, that's all orange under there. So let's spread that out a bit. He's got some patches up here that are kind of orangey, so let's put some of those in. It's got a lot of cool tones up there as well, but let's just paint all of that bit orange, and then we can go over it with red where we want to. And we don't have to be too careful about where we put it. It's got some more mottledy orange bits up here as well. So let's put those up there. Okay. Now I'm going in with the red, pure red. Maybe with just a touch of that really bright orange, because the other one we mixed it with the light one. I'm thinking with this one, if we mix it with a little of the bright orange, it'll make it a little bit lighter. The other one we went pastel and dark, this one will be brighter and lighter. So, that eye is definitely red, so we can put that in straight away. The pure red is also a lot cooler red, so it will match better with the blue. This is all very textured, so I'm not gonna worry about trying to keep it all even. I'm just gonna kind of dry brush it in. There's nothing we're doing here that we can't fix later with either a smaller brush or a pencil. And I love working with colour pencil over gouache, so that's probably what I'll do once I've got the colour blocked in. And I'll finish all of this bit, and then I'll do this horn across the top where it's lighter. I'll make sure I put that on top. So let's give it a kind of a bit of a shape in there so we know where it's going. There we go. Yeah, they stand out. The whole of his arm is the right colour. It's this red colour. But it's also got kind of dappley orange bits on it over the top, so let's block it in and worry about the details later. I've got to say this paper is really holding up well. It's holding up as well as the Art Alternatives paper, so I am really happy with this paper so far. I did have one patch on the leaf there where it looked like it was going to start rubbing off, but that was because I had a hell of a lot of water on it and then I added some more. That was my own fault. I'm usually more careful about how much water I add. Okay, so we've got this bit up here. And then a section that goes up into there, and then all of that is blue. Oh, maybe that section goes down there, and that bit's blue. There we go. I should have marked in his stripes where his blue goes first, but I didn't. Oh well. And we've got some reddish orange up here. It's kind of, again, blends into that orange, so I'm going to paint it over the top. And we'll blend it out in a minute. But we're already getting the right kind of look to it. It's kind of textured. That's what we want. There's that red thing of his teeth. I'm calling them teeth. They're not teeth. It's bumpy bits around his lips. Oh, he's got a nostril there that's surrounded by red. That yellow's a bit too big. And he is scaly, so I can get away with doing blobs rather than smooth sections. So when in doubt, just blob some colour. So these bits I can kind of blend out. Clean brush, a little bit of yellow. And I can go over that in pencil again if it doesn't, it's mixing a little bit too much. This colour really lifts off the paper. If you like doing that, then that's great, but I'm not a big fan. I don't like that. I don't want it to do that, thank you. So I'm going to have to learn how to get it to do what I want without lifting up. Ironically, I think the way to do it is to start dark and work light, actually. But never mind. So let's get some of this red in around the body bits. So he's kind of got almost like shapes. And then this one's kind of got like dotted bits. And his... Oh, hang on. If I do it that way, that's the right shape. There we go. Mottledy bits, there's some blue in there, mottledy bits. Okay. Now the white stripe down the middle is actually not white on this guy, it's very, very pale blue. So what I'm going to do is take a bit of the white and lay that down first, so that the blue blends into the white instead of the other way around. Oh look, it's picked up the pink. I think I didn't clean my brush properly. Doesn't matter. It's no biggie. Can we just put it on a bit thicker? There we go. It does stick to your brush, this gouache. It doesn't like to wash off easily. Okay, so I'm going to take the blue, mix it with that little bit of white. Even though it's not mixing white, it doesn't really matter. Add some water. Pick up some more white. There were easier ways of doing that, but where would be the fun in that? I really need a palette knife. I'm sure that would help. Ooh, now we're talking. That's a good, ooh, that's almost exactly the right colour. It's exactly what we want, almost. A little bit thick, so let's add some water to it. That thick paint in the bristles. Okay. See how he looks with a bit of contrast, shall we? We've got some bits, let's put some bits of blue down here. I'm not trying to stick to any pattern. His markings are very all over the place, so I'm just going to dab them in. It's got a bigger patch that comes up into this section here. Got to be careful not to pick up too much of the red because I don't want it to go purple. Ooh, like that. Nice big bit of blue up here. Nice bit of blue here. Nice bit of blue along there. In fact, I think that should be blue as well. And I've got to be careful how I lay it down because it'll pick up the orange underneath. Yeah, I think that should be blue as well. There we go, that's better. More blue. And this is going to be kind of greenish and bluish, so let's put a bluish tone underneath, and then we can put other colours over the top. That'll bring that colour forward. This is kind of purpley, so let's put the blue around this area, and we'll mix that with the red to get that purple tone. Put a bit of that red over the top. Yep, there's the purple. More of an orangey colour in the middle there. That's better. And then I think this cream is exactly the colour we want for the mouth. So let's water that down a little bit. It's such a nice colour, it's almost like buttercream. You know, like buttermilk icing. That's what it reminds me of. It's really pretty. So let's do all of his mouth in that base cream colour. Along there. Let's match that colour where we're going to put his scales. So he's actually got kind of rainbowy scales around his head here, so if we put cream underneath, that'll stop them looking too stark. It also gives us an idea of where we're going to put them. And then these guys, his horns are kind of a purpley grey colour, so let's put that on there as well. And tone down the colour underneath, so we've got something a little less obnoxious to paint over or colour over. I'm going to use that colour for his mouth as well. Oh, I picked up some green. Whoops. Not that it matters, it provides a bit of contrast. But it would be better if we didn't have green. Yeah, I can't get it to cover now. Put a bit of a highlight on his elbows, where he's kind of dusty, and this guy's got a highlight on his eye as well. Tones his red down a bit. And then I'm going to take a little bit of this dark brown and I'm going to mix it in with that cream colour. So it's a different brown to the brown we used before for the dark brown, for the eyes. But again, it's complementary because it's using the same brown but a different colour mixed in. And we're going to do this bit of his mouth. Ooh, water. Need it wetter than that. And do this bit of his mouth. So this is going to blend out here. And that's quite a sharp angle down there. And that's quite a sharp angle there. So about there. So might as well blend this out here already. Take a bit of this and create the shading. Be a lot easier to do this with pencil afterwards, but you know, if you've got the wet paint there, you might as well start, right? Give yourself an idea of where you're going. This is much darker up here, so let's add a little bit more brown. there's bits of shadow around here, so we'll just put in little bits that we can work with. We've got a line down here for his teeth, we've got a line down here on his gum line. I feel like we could put this brown down here around his mouth as well. Yeah, I feel like that leaf's wrong. That leaf needs to be brighter. I'm going to put some, let's mix a bit of that blue with a bit of that yellow. So the leaf will be the yellow we've got on both of them, plus the blue we've got on the one opposite. Let's try that and see if it's a better colour for it. Because it does need to be cool toned, but it doesn't need to be dull. Oh yeah, that's much better. Now it's as bright as the rest of it. That's much more like it. Water, bring that wash down, lighten that up a bit. Yes, that's much better. So I'm going to add some more water to that brown that we used for the eyes to water it down so it's more like watercolour. And I'm going to use that neutral brown on, whoops, a bit too much water. That neutral brown should work with both the orangey reds, oh I need to paint over that bit, and the blue tones on this side, as well as matching that green colour go a little bluer with these because they're newer leaves. Maybe do some more, another couple randomly that we can pencil the lines in maybe. Just a bit of foliage here and there so it's not quite so stark. Maybe some up here. Actually, it looks like it's coming out of his mouth, but it's not meant to. Now, let's use that same brown down here for this one. Make this a little bit darker and a little bit chunkier so that it brings the weight of the painting down to the bottom. You don't want a top-heavy painting. Maybe you do want a top-heavy painting. I don't want a top-heavy painting. We can have some bits showing here and there. We could even have a bit coming down here. Maybe he's got some showing here. And then we can use that green again here. instead of making a proper leaf, we can just use the colour to fill in. So they're not just sitting on a white page. Again, this is something that I can go back in and add some more to, or fix, or now I know this paper can handle water media, I can even come back in when it's dry with a slightly damp clean brush and like wash this out a bit to fill in some of the bits where it's still white. Kind of even out the tone a little bit, see? So I'm just going to fill my white gaps with bits of green, I think. Actually, I like that green tone better, so I'm going to go back in here. It's still a bit wet, I probably shouldn't, but... What's the point of having a new sketchbook if you don't beat up the paper, right? You've got to beat up the paper to know how far you can push it. Bit more yellow, use up the rest of this blue. I like the way the green contrasts with the fiery colours. Even though it's quite a bright green, it's still making them pop. When in doubt, use your compliments. Might actually go in properly with that same colour actually. Isn't that just typical? All these greens in this palette. And actually the one that works best is the one that I mix myself. Incidentally, this palette is really good for skin tones because it's got so many pastels. I've got a whole range of skin tones. Oh, my battery's dying. Oh, he's miles away. Okay. He's a bit drier. I can come in with his white sections and just blob those in. I'm using dry white because if I don't, it won't cover. I can always refine it later. He's got white blobs all the way around his head that have like a rainbow Aurora Borealis colours over the top, but matte. It's really interesting. Let's blob it in roughly in the shapes that we want. And he's got a big white bit on his eye. He's also got some white blobs around here as well. So let's put those in before we forget to put them in. I can always go in with a Posca marker and do this afterwards as well. This is a bit more white. So I'm going to put some more white over this so that when I blend it out, I don't forget that it's supposed to be lighter blue there. He's got kind of a wave shape along his side there. Like that. And then down here he's got lots of almost like white dots. Well, they are white dots, but they're almost like stripes of white dots. So I'll just put those in like that as reminders. I'll probably do those in pencil or Posca or something like that. And then while I've got my white out, I'm going to do that leaf. This is why my black tops always have white bits all over them. It's because I throw paint all over myself. I've managed to get a white stripe of paint all the way across because I painted something and then I leant forward. It all comes out in the wash, fortunately, but once I've got paint on it, I'm kind of loath to say, oh, well, I'll take this off and put a clean one on. I'm like, now I'll just put a t-shirt underneath that's clean and just use this as an over thing. Because it's going to get paint on it anyway. Okay. So this is coming down this way here. A lot of this is white. Oof, it's quite difficult to shift around when it's straight out of the tin. You do need to add a little bit of water to it to get it to shift around properly. Oh, that's better. Now I'm getting like a light green in there. That's nice. Let's put some white on here. This needs to be much whiter, actually. But seeing as this leaf is in front, I'll paint him first and then I'll outline the leaf so it literally looks like it's in front of him. Same with this, I'll paint the back bit first and then I'll paint his head. And where the tail overlaps, I'll do the tail first and then I'll paint his crest. I'm pretty happy with it so far. It's a bit of a woof in your face, bright coloured mess at the moment, but I like it. What I really might do, you know, I'm looking at that pink. Look at the pink in the background of this picture and look at that lavender grey. I'm thinking that lavender grey would make a really good colour up the top here to contrast with the really bright colours we've got going on everywhere else. Just tone it down a little bit at the top. Instead of having stark white, what if we use this colour? Oh yes! Yes! See, now it looks like her living room wall, because her living room wall is that colour. I kind of wish I'd left a bit of a patch here now. But again, if I want to do that, I can always put some white acrylic over the top and then paint the gouache over the top. A lot of people will say you can't put gouache over acrylic, and that is true in traditional art media. But we are not traditional artists. Well, I'm not a traditional artist. I am ye olde mixed media artist. And you can put gouache over acrylic. The reason they will say don't put gouache over acrylic is because gouache is not a stable medium. It is, oh, acrylic. They'll actually say acrylic doesn't provide a stable medium for gouache. The problem is, gouache is not a stable medium. It doesn't matter where you put gouache. If you add water to it, unless it's acrylic gouache, which is a whole different puppy, you're going to end up washing away your gouache because it's a water-soluble media. That's the whole point of it, is that it's supposed to paint. So no, you shouldn't put gouache over acrylic, because when they're talking about acrylic, they mean proper acrylic, you know, the shiny stuff that's all gloopy and heavy body, or at least flow satin acrylic. But mixed media artists don't use shiny acrylic because you can't write over shiny acrylic. We use matte acrylic. Matte acrylic has the same texture as gesso, and guess what? Gesso is a perfectly stable ground for gouache. Now that doesn't mean it's going to be light fast or anything, but gouache isn't light fast anyway. There is no light fast gouache. Gouache will always fade in the sun because it was never developed for being made into paintings that would be in the sun. But matte acrylic that we use, most of it is gesso. Or at least the binders that go into making gesso. So if you're using matte acrylic, you've got a perfectly stable medium to put gouache over the top. There you go. And that's the difference between mixed media and fine art. Because fine art, you can't You can't put gouache over acrylic because the kind of acrylic they're talking about and the kind of gouache they're talking about, absolutely correct. The gouache would just chip off the acrylic because the acrylic has no tooth, because they're talking about acrylic. We're talking about craft type acrylic or chalk acrylic, which is more like gesso and very much like gouache. And in fact, there's not an awful lot of difference between acrylic gouache and a good quality craft acrylic. Or chalk acrylic. I'm not going to say craft acrylic because craft implies it's cheap. It's not. I mean, I use the paper, see? Paints, these are not cheap. These are not cheap craft paints. These are chalk acrylic. So they are good quality acrylic, but they have chalk base. As opposed to these, which are satin. When you use them, they go shiny. As opposed to the heavy body white, which is glossy. This is actually glossy when it goes on. So I couldn't use this as a base and put gouache over it outside of a book. The book protects a lot of your media, so you know that's why we can get away with using just about anything in any order. But there you go, for anybody who didn't know. So we've got quite a mess going on here. What I need to do now is go in with a smaller brush, slightly more detailed brush, doesn't have to be tiny, but a more detailed brush, and tighten up some of the colours. But I need, this paper is quite wet at the moment, and I need to let it dry. So I'm just gonna, yeah, you can see the dampness on the back of the paper, see? Although I'm pretty impressed it hasn't really gone through, except for that one area where I did a lot of wet stuff. Hasn't really gone through. So that's okay, it'll dry. It'll dry quite well, actually. In fact, if I turn my fan around, it'll dry really well. But I'll just have to put my lid on my acrylic, on my gouache, so it doesn't dry out that. Doesn't matter about the stuff in the palette, I can re-wet that. Bright and colourful, yes. I think we need bright and colourful at the moment, don't we? Everything feels very grey, even though it's summer. Although, you'd never know it was summer if you looked out my window right now, but, you know, it's August. Isn't this supposed to be colourful weather? Nothing feels very colourful right now. Oh, hi Katie. Sorry, didn't see you come in. Do you not have a little bit of, oh, she's gone. Cody, when you rewatch this later, because I know you will, do you not have a little area outside where, even a communal area where you can go and sit and just be outdoors for a little while? Maybe that would help. The kids have an old shirt of yours they use as a painting shirt so they don't get paint over their clothes. My mum used to do that. We used to end up with one of Dad's old shirts and we had to wear it backwards so we couldn't accidentally take it off. Well, I've been busy. I was painting. Yeah, the colours are so bright. I'm really liking how bright the colours are. And they're almost identical to the colours that we've got here. I mean, that yellow's a little bit more neon than I planned, but I kind of like the way it pops against the red. All he really needs is a small wash of white over him, and that would tone that down really nicely. In fact, I might go in with a Posca marker in white and do all the little white dots, just because I'm that kind of crazy. But so far, actually, big sketchbook, big sketch page. Pretty happy with it. Pretty happy with it. Does anyone else feel like we should just have one light bulb for all lamps? Or 4 different types? Oh my god, yes! There should be big light bulbs, small light bulbs, bright light bulbs, and not bright light bulbs. And those should be the only choices. So you can have a big one that's bright or a big one that's not bright. You can have a little one that's bright or you can have a big one that's bright. And that's all you really need. I've got to the point now where lamps, if they're not LED lamps, I don't bother. Because LED lamps last indefinitely. The cables wear out before the LEDs do, and they don't get hot, and they don't take up so much energy. I wish I could replace this with an LED light. I might look into getting one of those LED ring light things. I don't know if I could handle having a ring light right above my head though. That might drive me a little insane. My dog food's going to be with me by 9 o'clock tonight now. So much for by 5:30. But that's okay. I get to keep painting, don't I? It makes a nice change to be able to just sit and paint. This is the kind of thing I normally would do over on Twitch. This is, you know, just painting stuff. I think what I want to do is go in and just tighten up his lines. I feel like I'm losing some of his definition, so I'm going to tighten up his lines and work out where I need to go back in with colour and where I need to not go back in with colour. You've got 2 desk lamps for the new craft room and you don't have a bulb that matches them. Take them back and swap them for LED lamps. Then you don't need a lamp, you need a bulb. My little strip light is an LED lamp. It's about 1 foot long and 1.5 inches wide. So you can have it across your desk like that, or you can have it down your page or whatever, or just off to the corner. I quite often have it turned to the corner, bouncing off the wall, because then it's not so bright. And it's got 3 different temperatures. It's got warm, cool, and daylight. And it's got 5 different dimmable settings. It's fantastic. It's not very good for filming, because it's not big enough. If it was double the size, it was really good. I'm jealous of how creative you are. I'm working on being free and not being scared of messing up. I can't help you with that. All I can tell you is, I can absolutely 100% guarantee that if you do something and it's really crap, totally crap, and you completely mess it up 100%, nobody is going to come bursting into your room going, "How dare you draw something so rubbish? You have to stop painting right now. Get rid of all your art materials. You're not worthy of painting. How dare you?" Okay, I can guarantee you nobody's going to do that. If you want to learn how to do this, come and follow me on Twitch, because I do these on Fridays as well. Although there's a bit less tutorial type stuff. I kind of can't help but teach. If I know something, I share it. That's what I do. This is the kind of stuff that I do on Twitch on a Friday afternoon, most of the time. But also, this is the kind of stuff we're doing in class. We've been doing from start to finish. We're doing 6 different ones at the moment. We did a newt. We've done a frog. I've got the frog sketch here somewhere. Hang on. I'm going to be... Whoops. Pencil case is open. Gosh darn it, didn't realise that. We've got... There's the frog. We've got the There's the newts page. That's where I was working out the colours and the composition and everything. That was the first draft. This is the redraw, which is the line art that everybody got, which is this. So there's the line art scanned. You can tell it's a scan because it's got the mark of the page, because the page is so big it won't fit on my scanner. I have to get my A3 scanner out to scan this puppy. I painted the backgrounds. That was on Twitch 2 weeks ago, I think. So there's like a 4-hour stream of me painting all 6 backgrounds and how I did it. There's the different sizes of the newts. So what I did was I took this, which is the original scan, and I traced over it on the iPad to get clean line work. So the classes had printouts of all of these to download if they wanted to. There's the frog on his own. There he is on the background. And the idea was we're going to paint him. I've done the same with the frog. So there's the original frog scan. There he is on the background. There's the background I painted for him. There's the 3 different sizes of frogs. And there's the frog on his own. That's what we're doing in Patreon. That's what my classes are in Patreon. That is the moth tier. So it's the full class tier, but it's also the moth tier. That's Saturdays. Every Saturday we spend 2 hours just painting and learning how to draw and stuff. And as you can see, I mean, it's not like I'm perfect. You know, it's not like all of mine come out looking, oh my god, that's so amazing. I mean, this looks like complete crap at the moment, but I'm not going to sit here and call it complete crap because it's not supposed to be any good. It's a sketch in my sketchbook and it's the first layer of blocked colour. By the time I've finished it, it might look okay. It might look really good. But I'm not invested in how good it is. I'm just using the sketchbook page. I'm practicing. I'm playing with a new material. I'm playing with new paper. If it comes out looking not bad, that will be good enough because I've never used these paints before. I've never used this paper before. I very rarely draw this size. I haven't even used these pencils that I used. They were ones that I dug out that I found, these Koh-i-Noor ones. I haven't even used those in 4 years. I got rid of the other ones that I know I will never use, and I kept the 3 that I know I will. And I put them in my thing and said, right, now you have to use them. You want to join, but you've been too nervous to. Why are you nervous? You will literally be bullied out of being nervous in my classes. I spend an awful lot of time, and Risha will testify to this because she was a completely new, never painted before artist 2 years ago. She will tell you I spend an awful lot of time saying, oh, don't be so silly, just get on with it. Nobody's going to tell you off, just do it. If you want to do it, just do it. You need to learn some freedom. The thing is, and I think this is where a lot of people get hung up, they see being artistic and being creative as the same thing, and it's not. Art with a capital A, when you're talking about fine art, that's like way up there. I would struggle. I'm an art teacher and I would struggle to do... I'm still telling her that, yeah. Shut up and get on with it. I would struggle to even try to copy some of the fine artists. But I'm not trying to be a fine artist. I'm a mixed media artist. It's a completely different type of art. You're comparing a Formula 1 race driver and fine art oil painting to someone who drives turbo rallies once a month. You know? It's completely different. completely different, and it's a much freer way of doing things. That's not to say that fine artists are not creative. They absolutely are, especially with the ideas. But when it comes to the skill set and the technical side of it and how they actually do their paintings, they follow fine art rules most of the time, or they break fine art rules deliberately. It's not that they're just gung-ho about it and they go, oh, I don't care. Whereas I'm very much, oh, I don't care. As long as it looks good, I'm happy. But my art's not supposed to be fine art. It's mixed media art, which immediately puts it in a different category. It's like trying to compare something from a graphic novel with Snoopy cartoons. You know, it's not, they're not meant to be compared. They're completely different types of art. So how you are creative is entirely up to you. And if I'd done this as a teaching class, as an actual class, I mean, when I do my frogs and newts, I'm going to be doing mine in acrylic paint, probably. Having played with this, maybe I might use gouache. And colour pencil, and bits of ink, and bits of this, and bits of that, because that's what I do. I'm mixed media. I use whatever does the job at the time. And if you can let yourself go and just play and just make stuff, it doesn't matter whether it's good or bad. It matters that you made it. And that when you come out of it, you go, well, okay, I could improve, but I like it. You know, overall, it's not horrendous. That's where you want to get to. And I'm always saying this. Always. This is the thing you have to remember. If you haven't drawn since you were a 10-year-old, expect to start drawing like a 10-year-old. If your 10-year-old came up to you with this and went, look, Mum, I painted chameleons, you'd think she'd flipping Picasso. You'd be like, I'm framing that. You know? So if you produced this and this is all you produced, it's colourful, it's creative, it's artistic, it's bright. If you put it in a nice frame, it'd actually look okay on the wall. And I guarantee you, anybody who came into your house would look at it and go, well, I like that. Who did that? Even your dad, who was an artist, would do the same thing. My mum's an artist. My mum's an art teacher, no less. Just had a baby and now ironically finally have time to come to live streams. Nap time is precious. That's what my bun keeps telling us. Nap time is precious. Congratulations. Boy or girl? Or multiples? I didn't know you were pregnant. You kept that quiet. Kudos. That must have been hard too, I can't even imagine being pregnant during the last 3 months. That must have been, that's off the charts crazy. That's where you're at. You're good at recreating pictures, but you want to be more creative like I am. Did you not notice that I was using a reference of somebody else's photo? Hello? I didn't just paint this out of my head. I can paint out of my head, but off the top of my head, I don't know what the hell a chameleon looks like, so I used a reference of somebody else's photo. I would never do that for I would never do that for a piece that I was going to sell, but in your sketchbook, nothing wrong with that. And if I post it on Instagram, all I'll do is tag her and say I used your chameleons as a reference. I hope you don't mind. And if she minds and she says please take it down, then I will. You know, but most people don't mind as long as you credit them, especially if it's a sketch. You know, she's an artist herself, so as soon as I say practice sketch in my sketchbook using some new paints and payment. Ooh, thank you very much, Kristen. Another coffee. Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you for the super chat. As soon as I say it's a sketchbook page trying out some new paper and new gouache, she's an artist, so she'll know straight away that that means it's not a piece that's ever going to be for sale. It might eventually turn into a digital bit that I use for collage or something that I give away to my patrons, but it won't be a sellable piece. So, nothing wrong with using reference. And even if I was doing a chameleon, there's plenty of places, like there's Pixabay, there's Unsplash. You can go and use somebody else's photo. You could copy into Paint somebody else's photo exactly. And all of those paintings, all of those photographs are free for commercial use. So there's nothing to stop you doing that. It's a community thing. What they do ask you to do is credit the original artist if necessary, or the photographer if necessary. And on Pixabay, they give you the option to buy them a coffee, which I normally do. If I use a reference from somebody, I buy them a coffee. Yeah, but all of my lovely drawings are using reference. There's no artist. That's not true. There are very few artists, or mixed media artists, or painters who work without a reference. It's more common in illustration because illustration is much more stylized. But how do you draw an aardvark if you don't know what an aardvark looks like? I bet off the top of your head you couldn't even describe an aardvark bar saying, well, it's kind of like a seal, but it's got feet like a duck and it's got a bill like a duck and it's kind of an odd colour. But could you actually, you know, you could recognise one, but could you actually put the pieces together? Probably not. So you go on Google and you look at pictures of aardvarks and you take the tail from that one and the eyes from that one and the head tilt from that one and the positioning of that one and you go, oh, I like the scaling on that one and the colour of this one, and you mish it all together and you go, ta-da! Yeah, back in ye olde days, ye olde painters actually used to go out with their oil paints and sit in fields and do stuff. Turner painted mostly with watercolours, but Van Gogh painted from life in the fields, drew from life in the fields. Picasso used a model in his studio. It doesn't matter whether your reference is something that's alive in front of you, like Miss Maddie when I painted her, or a photograph of something that's in front of somebody else. The creativity part comes from going, I really like that photo, the colours inspire me, I want to work with those colours. And then using what you've got to translate it from a photograph there onto your page here. And that doesn't necessarily mean it looks exactly like it, or it's identical, or anything like that. It could mean that you drew something completely different, but you used the colours. Or it could be you used the photo reference, but you did the colours differently, like I did with this one. That's creativity. The creative part is getting it from the materials in front of you, through your brain, onto the page, via a reference if necessary. That's creativity. Art is a whole other thing. I know it's a big thing to say, I'm an artist because I can draw a stickman, you know. And if you want to call yourself an artist, call yourself an artist. That's fine, I don't care. It makes no bones to me what you call yourself. But art with a capital A, when you think fine art, like the masters, you know, that's a whole different type of art to us just playing in our sketchbooks and being creative. This is not even on a par with what I do when I'm actually painting a painting. It's just a similar technique, but the process is different. So just bloody stop it, okay? Don't make me get on my soapbox. Get out whatever you have and just start. And if it intimidates you to go, oh yeah, but it's not going to look good, well, fine, don't worry about making it look good. Set yourself the target, like I have today. I have no preconceived ideas about what this page is going to end up looking like. It might be complete trash. If the paper doesn't hold up, it will be. It'll be a complete mess. But that's what I'm testing. That is my goal for today. Test this gouache, which I've never used before, on this paper, which I've only used briefly before with a bit of acrylic. Set that as your goal. Where in that does it say you have to produce a beautiful page? Nowhere. And if it turns out badly, you go, well, that was just a test with, you know, the gouache and the paper to see what happened. Test piece of the male-sized face mask is done. Awesome. Why have you made a male-sized face mask? Oh, is it for your granddad? Because there's no way you need a male-sized face mask. You need like a child's one. You're tiny. It's nearly 7 o'clock and my dog food is still not here. Unfortunately, we ran into an issue with your delivery. At 6:30, well, you didn't deliver to the right place because you haven't rang my doorbell. Oh, well, it's a good job I've got some dog food for tomorrow and I'm not desperate for dog food, isn't it? I'll have to get onto them later and say, oi, the hell. Oh, your sister's boyfriend. Oh, right, okay. Good reminder for yourself. Not all goals need to be lofty and perfect. No goals need to be lofty and perfect. You're a professional musician, Katie. The only lofty, perfect goal you need to have is that whatever album you put out, you are perfectly happy with how it sounds and you are happy that it is a sellable product. That's all that matters. Anything between that is just creativity and fun and trying new things. Seriously, people put way too much pressure on themselves. It's like this new thing of, I've seen so many kids doing this. I say kids. They're not kids. They're like teenagers up to 30. But I call them kids because I'm nearly 50. They're kids in my world. So many of them. And they have a good sketchbook where they do good art. And then they have a messy sketchbook where they do messy art. And I'm like, sketchbook's a sketchbook. Dude. Why'd you have to have a good one and a bad one? I can understand having, like I've seen a couple of people, like Fran has a sketchbook where she just does ideas and I love this community. Oh, Michelle, thank you. Another coffee. Yes, that's 2 coffees. Thank you for the super chat. Fran has a sketchbook that's not such good quality paper that she doesn't have to paint on or anything. It's just for drawing out ideas and making a mark on the paper and putting down scribbles and things that later she will turn into a proper illustration. And her proper illustration sketchbook is one that can take the media that she uses. I've got a bit of lag on my CPU. I'm dropping frames. It's probably because I've been on so long. So you may have got to the point where the mouth and the sound doesn't match up. I'm sorry if that's the case. I'm going to have to stop in a minute anyway because it's nearly 7 o'clock and I still need to cook my jacket potato. Because Amazon messed about. Ugh. They definitely didn't ring the doorbell. Anyway. I think I'm going to leave this one here today. Well, I'm not going to leave it here today. I'm going to leave it here for this session. So this is now at the stage where I will go back in with different paint and maybe a bit of acrylic, maybe just a bit of water on a brush and do some blending. You know, just fine tune it a little bit. Then I'll go in with maybe a pen or a pencil or something and pick out some outlines and things. And then I'll go in with fine details. And the fine details could be more gouache, it could be acrylic, it could be Posca paint pens, it could be ballpoint pens, it could be colour pencil. The details bit is where I spend most of the time. But I'm pretty happy with this as far as a basic colour block goes. I think it works. I'm happy with it. I may bring this, I've got this colour in a acrylic paint. Yes, there it is. I think these two together, these two blended together gives me this, which is pretty much that colour. So I'm thinking I might decide where the green's going to go and paint over. Like I might wet this a little bit and lift the paint with a bit of tissue. Wait for it to dry and then go over it with acrylic paint in this colour so that I can, this would be the wall, and then I can go back over it with gouache and do leaves like this. I think I prefer this to what's going on here. This green is too much, it's fighting with the other colours, whereas this pink really sets them off. I think it makes them stand out. So I think that's going to be my next thing, is to go back in and tidy up the outlines. Which also means that, like this bit, somewhere along the line I've lost this shape of where it should be. So once I decide where that shape actually should be, if I use acrylic for the background, I can paint over that. I can lift the colour off and then I can paint over it with acrylic. Even if I have to do 2 coats, that will work fine. And then I can redraw the branches in more like this one down here, rather than having pink and green. It's too, I don't know. I think the pink will set off the colours better than the green. That's how to say it. That's the best I can explain. So, there you go. That's it. Thank you for everybody who contributed via Super Chat. Very much appreciated. That's 2 more coffees for me. Yay! If you're interested in coming along and learning some more of this kind of stuff, come and join either my moths or my frogs tier over on Patreon, which is, the moths tier is the painting bit and the frogs tier is absolutely everything. And the bit that's not in the painting is the astrology and tarot and creativity chats and all that kind of stuff, journaling prompts and things that we do on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And that is the cats tier, I think. Yeah, cats tier. So come and find me over on RhomanysRealm. You can also sign up on my website, RhomanysRealm.org.uk, and don't forget to keep an eye out for the Halloween Chronicles 2020 poetry. I'm so excited about that class. I'm so looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome. Okay, that's it. Bye, guys.